rough lads.
Now, shall we begin?
You are now listening to an altogether less fashionable variety of soccer podcast. Broadcasting live from the capital city of Columbus, Ohio. Welcome to
ACES Radio.
They're in your face, they're a little different. I think it's super cool. I love them. Jamie, ignorant slut.
Hold on to your butts.
Now, here are your hosts, Morgan Hughes, John Zadar, and Greg Benson.
Oh, yeah, baby. Ignorant sluts, shitlords, and celebrity fans alike. If you're hearing the sound of my voice, it's already too late. You're tuned in to the latest, the lamest, and possibly last episode of ACES Radio. A Buffalo Bills podcast only. Coming up tonight on the program, Crewzers FC head to DC United and pick up the first 3 points of 2017. The panel will discuss. Cracking the Code makes its triumphant return as we try to decipher what Greg Berhalter means when he uses words. Handballs are thrown about, John, figuratively but not literally, so keep those PFGs safely tucked away inside your pantalones. On segment 2, the rarest of rare treats as a celebrity guest unlike any other stops by the show. We don't mean that as a compliment. Jeff Town is here. He's the guy that started this whole Zauber Brewing Company thing, and he's going to talk to us about beers and lads and which ones he ups. And on segment 3, we head live on Periscope for your hot takes, a.k.a. the battle for the grand prize. Sweet Jesus, John, I'll tell you what, Lord of the Shit's really making moves last week. We'll see if anybody can threaten his crown, as they're calling it. Prediction scores, prediction updates, Crewzers versus Portland Timbers, Hang On Tour, the AGS Attack War, and so much fucking more. Brought to you as always by benevolent corporate overlord sponsors Blood and Urine and broadcasting live from the beautiful back room here at Zauber Brewing Company. My name is continuing champion Morgan Hughes, aka number 1 Hansy Boy, and I'm joined as always by the absentee amateur artist himself, Captain Jean-Luc Zidard, the wet boy, and the Hollywood racist, Regulator 614, Greg Wesley Crusher Benson. Fellas, mapaches, brothers from different mothers and lads from different dads, and also amigos de Guillermo as well, because that's the thing I say. How the hell have you been?
That felt somewhat subdued for your intros. It felt like, I don't know, maybe you're a little bit dialed down a bit.
Is that right?
It's concerning. It's also concerning that we're actually doing this while it's still light outside.
Yeah, well...
Although it almost wasn't because of how long it took us to get here.
No shit. Thanks for stopping by, Greg.
Yeah.
It's been a rare treat. It's a shame you have to leave. John Zadar, welcome to the program, my friend.
Is my mic on?
No, you can stay.
Huh?
Your mic's on.
Oh, I can't hear myself.
Honestly, I can't hear fucking anyone.
Yeah, you said you're a little...
Yeah, nobody's microphone is particularly loud.
Are you sure I'm on?
Let's, hold on. So, mic gain. Keep talking.
Hey, there we go. Now I can hear myself.
I feel like we should have done this before the show, maybe?
I feel like we did.
Oh, yeah,
and
now
Morgan
we got it.
fucked something up.
That was, yeah.
No.
Yeah, that one's not. We're going to have to start
Yeah,
over.
what if I told you channel
we're
2 was
starting
still
again?
muted?
Turn the volume on the speaker down. We're getting, like, humming, aren't we?
Yeah,
Ba, ba, ba.
there was a little bit of a hum.
Ba, ba, ba.
And there's literally nobody in the studio audience
That's
right
true.
now.
Well,
So
Jeff, your microphone's not on right now. Didn't we have a conversation that you're not on until segment 2? What the hell's happening here? Jesus Christ.
he's testing a microphone that's off.
Should we start over or should we just go?
No, just keep going.
Yeah?
Who even cares?
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, lest anybody think that we're professionals or anything.
Right.
Welcome back to ACES Radio, everyone. We'll just cut that out in 3, 2, 1. All right, you guys are going to let me do that? Fan-fucking-tastic. Johnny, you still hungover from your birthday or what? What's going on with you?
What?
You're like the quietest I've ever...
No, I feel a little sick. I had to go.
Do you?
I had to go home and put my family cat in a box because he passed away.
Oh.
So I have to go bury him tomorrow. So I'm just not in a great mood.
I feel bad about that, Drive. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Yeah, well, you know when Morgan says, "How the hell are you?" You know he doesn't actually want an answer.
Right, exactly.
Like,
Well, it's tough shit.
Well, then let's jump right
Nice radio,
into
bitch.
Crewzers FC talk. Although I think
I'm actually really curious now if maybe I meant to have my mom check the video camera, see if Clark Beacom stopped by my house, see if maybe he killed my cat too.
Oh, there you go. Way to rebound, mate.
that was pretty good, John.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You're staying on point.
Yeah.
You know, $16 to anybody.
Throwing the brand line
Yeah,
there.
go fuck yourself, Clark. A couple housekeeping items, if I could, real quick, John, if you don't mind. Greg, I don't care about you. It's Erica Kress's birthday today, John. What if I told you that it was Erica Kress's birthday today?
Is she gonna get us gifts?
Is she going to get us gifts?
Yeah. Isn't that how that works?
Pretty sure it's how it works. So.
We've been giving her $16
I was
for
gonna
like a
say,
year now,
like-
so I figure.
But now she accepts gift cards, but only in $16 increments.
Oh, well, she's
Erica,
not getting anything else from me.
If you're listening to this underneath your desk, we're at Zauber Brewing Company here at
You can come.
5th Avenue in beautiful Grandview Heights, Ohio. Come on by. Have a vertigo.
On Jeff.
Yeah. Jeff's giving out free beers tonight. Anybody that's listening to this.
You know
thing
this
we're not
isn't.
live.
You know this isn't live.
Yeah. Also, I wanted to quickly mention that we're painting. Tifo Sweat is painting tomorrow. I don't know who we are. I don't know who they are. But if you're interested in signing up for Tifo Sweat, the criminal syndicate, the oppressive hashtag, if you will, go ahead and send an email to tifosweat@tifosweat.com, and one of those rough lads will make sure that you're added to the thing. Is that right, Greg?
Yeah, sounds about right.
How would he know?
I have no idea.
I mean, if I knew people in Tifo Sweat, which I may or may not.
This is off to a great start.
Lamest and possibly last. Moving on to Crewzers FC picking up the first 3 points of the season, Greg, at DC United.
Yes.
What a lovely day that was. And even though all goals came via penalty kick, John Zadar making noise in the microphone. Fantastic. 3, 2, 1. I want to get your thoughts on Crewzers FC at DC United.
Well, it does concern me. Well, first of all, great to see they got the 3 points. That was nice. This was a case of, as I said off the air, finding a wounded animal and eating it.
Yep.
Because
You did say that to Frankie Haydock.
I did say that to Frankie Haydock, and then Frankie Haydock took that analogy and expanded on it far more than I thought it
For about an
deserved.
hour.
Yeah, he really did take that and run with it.
Last week we pulled up, and if you'll remember from episode 38, Greg, we said that Frankie Haydock was standing aimlessly in the parking lot
He was.
at Zauber Brewing Company. Today we arrive to find him behind the bar.
He'd actually migrated. I don't think that he was actually scheduled to work today.
I think he was.
No,
Work at Zauber?
Yeah.
Did you schedule him?
yeah, that was the joke.
We need
John.
you to patrol the parking lot today.
You know, I mean, brand ambassador only pays so much. You got to take a side job to make
Right.
ends meet.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I look forward to seeing where he's at next week.
Yeah,
Back to you, Greg.
yeah. So no, it was nice to get a win against a team that by all rights they probably should have beaten, because we're 3 games into the season now and DC still hasn't scored, which has got to be concerning them. But that's the game that you should be winning if you're a team looking to get your first win of the season.
John, does it concern you at all that both of our goals came via penalty kick? I mean, say what you will about how good teams beat bad teams, and that makes us feel good, but does it make you feel any worse that both came via the spot?
I mean, I don't like it. Drunk John on Saturday didn't much care for it. That's really all I know about that game. I didn't watch a lot of it because we were at my birthday party.
Yeah, I tried to lead you into a question that had nothing to do with the actual game. Like, are you upset about penalty kicks, John? Back to you.
No, I am not thrilled that we won based solely on penalty kicks, but I suppose there's a silver lining there in that we got... I mean, we've had opportunities to score goals, but these were obviously... I don't know if you want to say they're more dangerous, but they were obviously threatening enough that the defenders felt the need to foul Kamara in the box.
Yeah.
So that speaks to potentially some of the new movement and positioning that we might see if this formation gets trotted out there again.
Beautiful ball, and specifically the second one from... the first one from Higuain. That was just a classy one-touch, upping the lad's footy pitch type, boot. That's a word they use.
Was it?
Yeah.
I thought that to be fair, in the interest of, I don't
Fairness?
know, playing devil's advocate, yeah, because I'd already used the word fair in
There it
the
is.
first half of the sentence. Kind of had to think on the fly. It's not something I do well. I thought both penalty calls were kind of soft.
No.
No, I thought that.
I will
thought they
agree with
were.
you on the second one, but I think the first one's a pretty blatant
The first
tackle.
one. The first one, I thought, tackle from
That
behind.
got no
I did
ball.
think that he won the ball.
I don't think he even touches the ball.
It looked to me like, I mean, I watched it again today and was like, I'm trying to see something.
I'll have to look
like
at it again.
It
one's
looked like it
legitimate.
might have been a judgment call.
You know what, though? Be a better pro. Be a better pro. Keep yourself under control.
That's still and that still goes back to the fact that he had to make a desperate tackle like that speaks
Right.
to both our quick play and his lack of positioning. So yeah.
Second one, I think Ola goes down very easily, knowing that they've already got one.
I agree.
And there might be a chance to, because you can go one of two ways with that. You can be like, okay, well, the ref's given us a penalty already. He might not give us another one.
Yeah.
Or you think, all right, if this got called, this might get called too. So any touch on the side, and Ola just goes
And
down
what's
in
the
a heap.
worst case scenario? He tells you to get up.
He tells you to get
No
up.
one in
or-
MLS ever gets yellows for
right.
flopping.
I was about to say
Ever.
that doesn't
No.
happen in this league.
No, and it's a good point to you bring up about quick passes creating spacing issues with the defenders, because we had a new defender in the middle, a new defender playing in a new system as far as the regular season is considered, and rightfully so. Alex Crognell, cousin of Gangster Crew Baby John, got a man of the match, and I know he's a 3-man back, and so he kind of feels more insulated with two center backs, really, Josh Williams and Nicky ACES on either side of him, but he did a hell of a job.
I'd argue he's playing the hardest position of the three as the center guy. He has to cover, not only is he has his own responsibilities, but then he's also responsible for clearing up their messes, which, based on the highlights that I watched and some of the things I've
And
read,
not the
Josh
game
Williams
that you
made a
saw.
lot.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't watch much of the game, so I tried to do what I could to get ready for this. But yeah, based on what I've read and the highlights, it seemed like Josh Williams is what he is. He's a role filler. He's not a starting caliber.
And fair enough.
And I think you have to assume that was Mensah not suspended, it would have been him instead of Williams out there.
If we're even in a 3-man back line.
Yes.
Which is why it was such a good thing that they were playing DC and not, say, Portland with Mensah being out, because, or it doesn't have to be Portland. It could be any other team that's doing well, like, look at Atlanta or someone like that who's been, pouring on the goals early.
A lot of people are saying that their success early has a lot to do with the lads in the stands.
It's a bit tilted, actually. Well,
Yeah.
not because of that, but
No, people are talking about that, John.
I didn't expect you to go along with that, John.
They're saying that's.
I don't want to
That
get into
wasn't
a
the
whole
thing.
thing
I'm
about
just saying
Atlanta,
it's,
but
it's a good thing that when your second DP is out, you want to be playing the worst team, particularly if that guy is your defender.
yeah, well, not that,
like
and trying a new formation too.
That
two
too.
two important factors that you don't
Yeah.
want to have to experience for the first time against someone who's hot, like you said.
to give an idea of the fact, I mean, because I was at your birthday festivities as well,
Yeah.
and I didn't realize that it was a new formation until I went back and watched the highlights today.
Oh, really?
And saw the lineups before the game. I was like, oh, that looks different.
Hysterical. Everyone was drinking alcohol. Yes. Let's move on to. And I remind you, as always, that Jonathan Mensah is a designated player over that threshold, based just on his transfer fee, or his buyout clause, whatever it is. It's not salary. MLS actually.
What are you trying? I don't understand what you're trying to do by saying that.
Nah, nobody does. Color impressions.
Trying
of
to
the
say
match.
he's
Trying to
not
minimize his
trying to say
impact.
he's not all that great.
I just don't like the narrative. I never liked the narrative of designated players because of how
Right.
there are
I think
different
it's-
ways you can
I-
become a
I
designated
think
player.
that it is,
and you can be bought out of that.
Well, that
fucking
right.
thing.
That's what I'm, as I say. Like that tag doesn't mean what it used to mean, but I think that people still are acting as if it means what it used to mean. I mean, you got to think like Mensah is our second DP, but unfortunately, he kind of isn't. Like Gaston is kind of a DP.
Yep.
Like he's making that kind of money. We just bought it down.
Yep.
Like DPs are not what they used to be, and people need to, I think, readjust their definition and their expectations of those players.
I think that MLS created a
little bit.
rule to sign David Beckham, and then they realized after a few signings, like, whoa, this is a thing that we can use to quell the outrage from our fan base. Like we can go, oh, hey,
it was literally
we filled up all of our
nicknamed.
designated player slots, so what do you want to do?
It was literally nicknamed the Beckham Rule.
Right.
For
I
that
remember things.
reason.
Yeah. Moving on.
Yeah.
Color impressions. Greg Benson, I go to you first.
Yes.
As the dirty immigrant that you are,
Yes.
I ask you for your color impressions of the match, my friend.
My color impression, and I'm looking for a word that accurately describes this color, but it's somewhere between brown and gray, like gray, ground, something like that. It's whatever the smoldering pile of rubble that RFK Stadium will become after it's finally demolished, because it didn't go out on a high note as far as Crew participation was concerned, because that was their last game.
Yeah, sure was.
Oh, that was.
That was.
Oh,
yeah,
I
they
thought
don't
that was
play
just
there
our
again this
last game.
season.
No, it is. It's just our
No, that's what I
last
said.
game.
Crew participation.
Oh, I thought you meant it was DC's last
No,
game.
no.
there.
Greg explained that very poorly.
Yeah,
We're
I
not even
did.
sure
I'm
what
sorry.
his color is. Gray, brown.
Gray,
Called
brown.
beige, I think, is what it is.
Beige.
typically
Let's
is.
go with. Let's
Like
go
a
with
deep beige,
taupe,
dark
taupe.
beige.
We poured all the colors into one, and now it's diarrhea. Okay,
There
Greg
you go. My
Benson.
color impression
you're
is
doing-
diarrhea.
Yeah, there you go.
Because that's what the pitch looked like.
John
It did
Zadar,
look
I
bad.
ask
It
you
wasn't great.
for your based on nothing color impressions, as you were
gonna
upping
go
the
with
lads too hard.
Brown, because I didn't really black out, but I did. But things are fuzzy. I remember everything, but not the details of
It
them.
was more of a rolling blackout than
Well,
anything.
I had a good time. That's what I'm.
Here's the problem, dude. You had 2 of the Long Island iced teas at Char Bar.
Yeah, I also had no beers at Land Grant that were like sub 7.5.
Yeah.
I realized
Right.
like my 4th beer, and I was like, oh, people are only buying me the highest alcohol content ones.
Dude, the Long Islands at Char Bar are lethal.
That's why we went.
I had 2 of
I
them
can't
as
believe
well,
that
but I'd been drinking sort of the.
I thought
the
everyone was
5
going home.
5 and up.
there. You guys pieced out super early,
We did eventually.
right? At like 2.
We just, I mean,
Thanks
we
a lot,
had
Nate
we
Beckman.
had drinking and squirrel hunting.
Nate
to
was
do.
there.
I know. He didn't tell me. This is
Nate-
bullshit.
Yvonne
he
was
knows.
there?
Both of them know how much I love Char Bar.
Nate Beckman partied harder than you, Morgan.
Yeah,
Nobody got time for that.
Fuck you, says the Chaz.
he was in full step, real father on the weekend.
Oh,
though.
yeah? Step down? Oh, I love that guy. John, you know what? I'm going to switch it up this week, and I've been giving this a lot of thought. My color impression of Crewzers FC versus DC United fighting raccoons of our nation's capital. That color would be...
Yellow Beach, Columbus Crew.
That's right, John. Yellow.
Oh, yellow like what?
Yellow like Columbus Crew SC, John. Haha, fan-fucking-tastic. That's 2 shows in a row. The wet boy. The paying attention boy. Love that guy. Moving on. We are... I thought
So
that's
organic the way that he knows his lines.
it is.
It's almost like I've been doing it for a year.
Now, Jeff was standing up there
Feels like
capoing
so
earlier,
much longer.
so you know you were given instruction. Cracking the code is next, and you know I realized that.
You're just gonna skip number 2.
Oh wait, no, yeah,
It's so good when we stay on script, isn't it? As Morgan fucks up the rotation.
fan-fucking-tastic. As I was about to say before you so rudely interrupted me, John, we go now into a second bullet point, which is new formation. Greg Benson, I go to you first. Is
Yes.
the only part of this panel, which is Latin for podcast hosts, that watched the game, other than myself.
After the fact.
I'm basically just attacking John for not prepping. Your thoughts on the new formation?
Well, I prepped as well, and I left my notes on the printer at Caster Connection. So
Is it better to have not printed notes or have printed them and forgotten them?
keeping business in motion and podcasts at a standstill. Greg Benson, I go to you for your thoughts on the new formation we saw, and that was a 3-back line featuring Alex Crognell.
yeah, I mean, Crognali, however he pronounces it. I don't know.
It's Crognell.
No, I'm pretty sure it's not. It's Cronale.
Isn't it Cronale?
Cronale. That's what I thought it was. I just assume that whatever Morgan says is wrong. I'm usually right about that.
What's his dad's name? Kevin? Can we get a
Crognell.
clarification? No.
Karen is his mother.
Karen.
Greg Benson, Jesus Tits.
Yes.
Your thoughts on the new formation?
It's a long time since I've been called that, Morgan. But yeah, really. No, I thought it was nice to see a shake-up in the system finally. I don't know if that was playing to the opponent, knowing that DC plays a similar style to what the Crew does, in that they're a possession team. Crew got out-possessed for the first time this season. I mean, I know we're only 3 games in, but that's not something you expect of a team that plays the way that Crew does. I don't know. It was, if it works, I say go for it. I don't know if it's necessarily going to work against Portland this week, but we'll get to that later.
All right.
Yeah, it's nice to see the deck being shuffled a little bit, and trying something different, because obviously what was going on virtually all of last season wasn't working for them. So
Sure. John, you're a soccerman. Mm-hmm. You've played many an intramural match. Mm-hmm. No, nothing professional, nothing where it counts. Nothing, no school level, amateur shit.
absentee amateur association footballer.
As a lad on the pitch, on the soccer pitch, wearing the boots, kicking the footy around, your thoughts on playing a new formation after all these years?
I think it's good. I assume that I am probably the one to thank for that, because I said last week that Greg was losing my faith, and I'm sure he heard that and and wanted
Studio
to
audience
regain
appreciate-
my
yeah.
love and affection. And let me say that this was a step in that direction. It was nice. It was good. I think, like we'd already touched on, this was the perfect opportunity to try it. It's literally like the only team in the league that was doing worse than us.
Yeah.
And we had Mensa out, so it was a good chance to not have to be like, well, we have to bench someone without, we could do it without really having to like kind of punish someone, if you will.
Ethan Finley.
Yeah, well, Ethan Finley hasn't really deserved a starting spot a lot lately, has he? So,
Todd Fichtenberg is not going to like this. That lobster-crusted hot dog leans to the right, Joe.
It's drooping with sadness right now.
oh, gross. No, and I don't actually. While I'm sure it's frustrating for Ethan, that's another good thing to take from this. I think is that we now have a legitimate, dangerous offensive weapon to bring into games late. Whether it continues to be him or if it rotates to someone else, it will be nice to have what we consider a starter coming into games late to either be that burst of energy up top to keep the team pressed back or to go for that goal we need, whatever. I think that's an additional, perk of this new formation. But like Greg said, I don't know if I would stick with it for this week.
I think that I don't know how
you need the extra defense.
I don't know how professional soccer coaches prepare for games, but I can only imagine that now having a second set of data that is formation, aside from our traditional formation, it will probably. It can't hurt us, right? So to have this as a thing that Caleb Porter now has to consider coming into Crewzers FC Stadium at Value City Arena, presented by ZZ Boots, Wild Man's Leather and Lace, it can't possibly hurt us. So let's. The last point on the new formation talk, Greg, is just a yes or no. Is this going to stay? And by that, I mean, will we be playing it against Portland now that we have... Now, we are missing Yuka Raitala, but we get Mensa back. Are we going to see this same formation, or are we going to go back to our traditional?
I think you go back to the traditional. I think with Raitala being out of the lineup, I'm not saying it's necessarily a good idea or that that's the game plan to winning this weekend.
Yep.
Saying with the pieces that you have available, I mean, who else do they have at left back?
Waylon Francis.
Is he still with the team?
Yes.
I legitimately had
Well,
no
he's been
idea.
coming back from shoulder surgery.
Okay.
And he's been featured in a few of the scrimmages. And
For some reason, I thought they let him go
Nope.
in the offseason. That shows you how close attention I've been paying. Nobody ever said we were professionals.
Oh, he's getting played off.
By what?
What is
I
that?
don't hear anything. I mean, I heard Oliver that just walked in.
So you say
I don't
no,
know.
we go back to our traditional.
I think they go back to the traditional.
All right.
I think.
John Zadar.
I don't know if I have a preference here, and I don't know what Greg's going to do. I think both could potentially work. Portland's offense is very talented and really good.
Missing Darlington Nagbe and who the fuck else this week? Somebody else. Adi or I don't know. They're missing two to international calls.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure Adi and Valeria are both here, though, and they're the ones that you really have to worry about. So I think that maybe defending against Valeri would be more effective if you had to pick one guy to really muscle down on than it would be for Adi, because Valeri's feeding him and whatnot. So maybe three at the back would add that extra body in midfield and could clog the Valeri's passing routes and stuff like that. I don't know.
What's the worst that can happen? 2-1 for the 1500th
Right, exactly.
time in a row?
That's where I'm at. That's why I don't care which lineup he decides to go with. If it's the safe one, four at the back, I kind of understand. If it's the other one, great. We're taking another chance and we're going for it after a year of crap. How we gotta start doing some of this stuff. We gotta start trying things. And
How do you take a guy like Alex Crognow out of the lineup?
I don't think you do, and I don't think you will.
So where do you move? Do you move?
I think that this I think this is a great opportunity for whether it's Waylon Francis or what I expect or would actually kind of prefer to see is Ness outside. Raitala and Merrim haven't had a whole lot of great chemistry in these 2 games so far, or 3 games so far. So I don't think it would hurt to see someone else out there with Justin for a game and see, Raitala's, I thought, been doing okay, but maybe we can have somebody that does better and interacts with Justin better.
I'm sorry, the correct answer was Hector Jimenez.
I don't want to see him
fucking anything.
I don't want to see him at all. I don't think Hector Jimenez, unless in dire straits or open cup, sees the field this year.
Well, John, what if I told you there was actually a cure for the scourge? That is Hector Jimenez playing every position.
I'd love to know what it is.
Is that right? Do you want to know about that?
I think Bruce Arena would like to know, too, because he did that a lot in L.A.
A lot of people, including Bruce Arena, are saying the only cure for the scourge, that is Hector Jimenez not making a fucking shot when we give him our golf, what is it called?
Foot golf.
Foot golf.
There you go.
Yeah.
Our golf foot.
In 3, 2, 1.
Clap.
A lot of people are saying, John, including Bruce Arena, that the only cure for the scourge, that is Hector Jimenez fucking up on hole 4, the Crew SC Foot Golf Classic, is knowledge.
And now,
It's a bit
an
loud.
ACES radio exclusive.
What does it all mean, Panther?
Cracking the code. They say it.
Everything we do is for the city.
We explain it.
Who we are is for the city.
You reap the benefits.
What? They speak English and what? What? English, motherfucker! Do you speak it? Yeah!
And it's all for Columbus.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another edition of Cracking the Code, where we take some of the more Berhaltrian and Galifo-esque statements of the previous week.
Berhaltrian is a great word.
Yeah.
I hate to give you credit for anything.
You
That
give
probably
me credit,
came from
goddammit.
Reddit.
Yeah,
He got that
probably.
from Reddit.
Why?
From
he probably
user
had to ask.
Berhaltrian
He probably had
with
to ask
3
Pam
upvotes.
how to pronounce it for him and everything.
Everybody's going to laugh about that in a second, John. I'm sure of it. Nope, turns out they fucking hate you.
It's almost like the studio audience almost always agrees with whatever Morgan's thumbs happen to hit.
Anybody got time for that? Moving on. All right, Cracking the Code. I believe the question this week is posed by either...
Does it matter?
I want to give credit to whomever did it. I
Oh.
think it's either,
they
Plebis
included?
Quest legend Andrew King, or it's Patrick, whatever the fuck his name is, from Master Report. Not Golden.
You play
obviously.
it, maybe we'll know.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Do you go away from that
That's Andrew King.
this weekend because it's not exactly what you wanted to do for the most part of the season, or did it work so well that you're now convinced?
All right, so he's talking about formation. All right, just back to you, John.
I wouldn't say we go away from it. What I'd say is that, in preseason we worked hard to integrate two systems into our play. The style of play is very similar, but the systems function in different ways. So, based on the opponent, we'll choose to play one way or the other.
Okay, so this is the first actual Cracking the Code thing that's, the way we intended it to be. So Greg answers a question by not saying fucking much.
Right.
Like the most trestle
hey.
soccer answer that has ever trestle soccer answered in the history of the world. So John, I go to you first. The question was, do you switch it up this week against Portland? And his answer was...
I think his answer was mostly just like, listen, you little carrot top motherfucker
That's
dweeb.
right. Yeah.
Why are you asking me to reveal what I'm going to do to
You
our
don't even have a
opponents
soul and you're asking
in 3
me?
days?
Yeah,
Yeah,
come
get
on.
your soulless, beady little eyes out of my face and stop asking me these ridiculous questions about tactics that you know I'm not going to tell you the truth about.
And that's it?
Boom roasted.
All right. I don't know how he comes back from that. Like, he's trying to write an article about capos right now. I don't know how he does it, John.
Oh.
Greg Benson.
He comes back only at the direction of the capo. I believe that's the point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think as John said, he's just kind of trying to play it close to the vest as much as possible. But I like the idea that he's willing to play a different system depending on the opponent.
I do too.
Which we didn't see at all last year. It was, this is the system, we're going with it.
We saw it a little bit in the U.S. Open Cup, which we know from experience apparently doesn't matter.
I think that last year was a bit of a hard lesson for Greg. I think he was very confident in what he had established and built, and I don't blame him after 2015.
Well,
I would be too.
I mean, you go all the way to MLS Cup, and that's the hill you choose to die on the following year.
Sure. It feels a bit, if that behavior and stubbornness felt a bit out of character for him, being someone who is so statistics minded supposedly and so like analytical and deep thinking about these kinds of things, to be so just like unwilling to switch over such a long period of time felt odd to me. But hopefully he's got it now.
The way I heard him answer that was he kind of sounded annoyed. So I think that we're going to see the traditional formation against Portland on Saturday. but I also kind of got the impression that this new formation will be situational in that when somebody is suspended or away for duty or injured, we will see this formation when a critical cog in the defensive back line dictates it.
I don't know if I'd say that I think that's the only time we're going to see it, but I think that's a really good point because our back line is now more so than in the past potentially going to be gone more frequently.
Yeah.
We have 3 of our 4 starters national team players.
Yeah, Josh Williams is knocking on the door.
And awful.
At this rate, he might be.
Jesus. So, yeah, I mean, if 3 of your starters are going to be missing time frequently, you're not left with much choice.
Yeah.
I mean, and potentially, I don't know what the situation is for Costa Rica, but if Waylon Francis gets healthy again, even if he's not starting regularly, left back's hard to come by anywhere in the world, let alone CONCACAF. So maybe he even gets called up here or there too. I don't know. So.
Time will tell, John. But one thing we can be sure of is that Greg Berhalter is a liar, and crew fandom, the Crewniverse, if you will, is just thankful that we're here to interpret for them. Moving on to man balls, Greg, I remind you, as always, this is a tradition unlike any other, much like Script Ohio of ANC Buckeyes.
Yes, indeed.
Man balls is a combination of man of the match and game balls, which as a term is too long as opposed to this explanation, which is perfectly formed. I go to you first, Greg, your 2 man balls of the week.
My first man ball goes to Matthew Leckie of the Socceroos, who scored in the World Cup qualifier this morning against Iraq. We didn't get the win.
What was the final score of that?
I was 1-1.
That's all right.
Man.
So as we were talking about off the air, I'm very briefly going to touch on this because I know it's an international week, and I'm genuinely concerned right now because currently Australia sit 3rd in their group in Asia. Only the top 2 automatically qualify. Guess what happens to the 3rd place team? They get to play the 4th place team in the hex
to a prisoner island. Oh,
yeah, no, we're already that.
I thought maybe there was a smaller, worse one.
Yeah, it's like prisonception.
So you're saying
like
that
there's a prison within Australia.
Right, like there are scorpions there, but now these scorpions also fly.
Right, exactly, and shoot lasers. Yeah, no. Yeah, no. 3rd place in Asia gets to play the 4th place team in the CONCACAF hex, which may or may not wind up being the US, and I'm genuinely nervous about that. Not because I'm afraid of the U.S. national team. I mean, I've been watching them for a while now. But,
okay, your first fucking man ball goes to some fucking white guy from Australia. How about your second one?
Dear. Yeah, Upper Arlington guy says generic white guy. Second man ball is... Yeah. I was waiting to see what you're doing. You're just experimenting with the drops at this point.
Exactly.
Second man ball goes to Federico Higuain. Not only for scoring the first penalty, but because he let someone named Kamara take the second penalty, which was awfully nice of him.
My name Pipa. I got nothing against people named Kamara. I'm from Peru. I'm a Peruvian. This is what we sound like. John Zadar, your 2 man balls of the week, my friend.
Okay.
That's very surreal right now.
Yeah.
Does this feel like a weird episode to you?
It does.
I'm
just
glad
going
I'm
to
not
keep
the only
rolling with
one.
it, though. I'm going to give 1 man ball to Ola Kamara. Drawing 2 penalties isn't exactly how you want your starting striker to necessarily contribute, but nonetheless, they led to 2 goals, one of which he scored. So, and then my other one, I guess, I don't know. I'm going to give it to the bartender at Char Bar for giving me 2 Long Islands when I probably should have only had 1.
Fan-fucking-tastic.
Or whoever bought me the second one. I don't know who it was.
I don't remember who it was either. I know it wasn't me.
I was told that I looked at my phone and got up and ran away from you guys, and when my brother came to find me, I just had a second one.
You were focusing quite a lot on the 2 Long Islands and squirrel hair behind you.
Yes.
Little known fact about Char Bar, it was a stop on the Underground Railroad. The basement was, because it's too old and decrepit to not have been, John. So, fan-fucking-tastic. My first man ball of the week goes to, and this, people call me a front office shill a lot.
And you are.
Yeah, I absolutely am, which is why my first man ball of the week goes to JP Lococo of Columbus Crewzers FC for... A lot of us have bitched about the parking, the getting out of the parking lot, as well we should, because it's fucking awful. and it's only getting fucking worse. This week they announced a partnership with Uber where there's a designated pickup area. I'm not saying I'm not saying whether or not I think that Uber is a great company or any of that shit. I'm saying that the front office heard our complaints and they actively did something to address it.
They abandoned a partnership with the local car rental company in favor of a big corporate scumbag company.
So instead of sitting in the driver's seat of your car, being stuck in the parking lot after
you can
a
now
game,
walk half a mile to the Uber.
You can now
pickup
walk
spot.
half a mile and sit in the passenger seat while your Uber driver is stuck.
I'm
in
glad
the
that
parking
JP
lot
and them are
waiting
out there
to get
getting the
out.
steals, but I'm not in any way impressed. By
Hey,
this
while
one.
you guys are busy looking into the future and seeing it, what are the lottery numbers going to be on Monday? Because you can tell how this is going to work out based
does that
on
have to do?
fucking nothing. You don't know where the goddamn pickup area is.
Yeah, I do.
This
They
thing-
posted a map today. Thank you
Yeah,
very
but it's
much.
outside of the fucking egress area, brah.
What?
That's a word.
Yeah,
Damn,
half,
Ollie used to
the
use.
half a mile
Egress.
away that it is.
Fantastic. Now, JP Lococo, you tried it. John Zadar thinks you're a piece of shit, but
Nah,
I mean, like,
I love JP. I'm just disappointed that they chose to partner with Uber.
I remember earlier you saying that JP had herpes,
Does he?
genital herpes.
Does he?
I mean, you said it.
Well, must
Is that
be
right?
true then.
JP, genital herpes.
Genital herpes.
Genital herpes confirmed. For
Can't wait
JP.
to see those genital herpes bopping around the field for the Columbus Cup this
I
year.
can already see into the future. Next week, hot takes from user genital herpes.
Yeah, no
with
fucking
4
doubt.
upvotes.
My second man ball of the week goes to none other than Andres Mendoza of Crewzers FC, John, for being possibly the greatest player in franchise history.
He's from Argentina, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
This is
Andres
Peruvian music.
Mendoza, 420 Blaze swag.
Hashtag yellow swag. Blaze it.
Excuse me, Blaze.
Let me smash. If you've enjoyed the smashing, Becky, in segment 1.
Shout out to whoever random guy came up to me at Char Bar
Yeah?
and said, "Hey, you're John from ACES Radio," and I was like, really drunk
Yeah,
at that
was,
point. So
that was the most messed up part of the
apparently,
night. Like,
I was told you didn't tell me your name anyways, so I don't feel bad about forgetting it. But next time, tell me your name and maybe I won't be drunk.
Son of a bitch, that happened in real life.
But hey, good for you.
What a rare
The
treat.
man ball can go to that guy. Actually.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I'm switching.
Your third man ball?
No, the second one. That
All right.
didn't really go to anyone anyways.
Okay. My third one goes to Phil Goldfart.
That's not how this works.
Yep. And Greg's third one goes to Bobo.
yeah, always.
Fan-fucking-tastic.
I think they're playing this weekend. No,
If you've enjoyed all of this crap in our kind of episode that we're recording, that we probably should have
are you
started
sure
over.
we're recording?
I've got great news for you. We're coming back on segment 2 with the founder of Zauber Brewing Company. His name is Jeff Town. He's got a lot of soccer scarves up in the front room here. We're going to ask him about it. He's a lad upper. But does he listen to his capo? Tune in to find out. This is ACES Radio.
Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. Now we blasting off into the ozone. The way we kick it in the dojo is local for show. Though we paving the road that's opposed to the dojo. Going over your head like a top hat. Stop that. I know you hear me spitting these hot raps. Now watch that beat, cause it's about to drop. The Rockets is the 09 jump off. Yeah, your last name Pan, first name Peter. I know you see me playing and you want me to teach you, but I stay elevated so that all God's creatures can hear me shout it out like my name is Aretha. Getting RESPECT. Fly by, see the looks on your faces. Cause I'm in full EFFECT. Jet setting on a daily basis. David F. Man, you don't stop. David, you won't stop. We came to rock it till the city takes off. Mr. Captain, yeah, I'm an ace pilot. Yeah, I wanna spin my wings and fly. To all the people in coach, yeah, and to my first class folks, yeah, we'll show you how to scrape the sky. Yeah. As the curvature of the earth takes shape, fly fast forward like a videotape and no cape. Just follow my jet stream, proud in the clouds on the boom in your precinct. I'll have no trampoline, black box in the pocket of my jet jeans. Shine with the stars so bright, even NYC sees me. Get that.
Oh, yeah, John Zadar, eat that cookie that you just bought at, what is it called, Explorers Club, here at Zauber Brewing Company. John, let me tell you what, I had a chance to have a sandwich from Explorers Club the other day. Sweet Jesus, delicious. Broadcasting live from the back room here at the aforementioned Zauber Brewing Company. My name is continuing champion Morgan Hughes, and if you're hearing the sound of my voice, you've made a terrible decision to stick with us from segment 1 to segment 2, knowing full well that this program is trash.
I noticed that in between segments while we were out enjoying a beverage from Zauber Brewing Company.
Indeed.
There's a World Cup qualifier, I think it is, going on right now.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Chile and Argentina, and I noticed a lot of Chilean fans are here, like actual Chilean people,
Lads.
Chilean lads. I don't know what Chilean
They're always here for the Chile games.
I know, but
Hell
and they all and they come like waving
so cool.
flags and draped in the flags and everything. I just want to go up to one of them and go, man, you guys really like Texas. They hate that.
Is that true?
Yeah, because the
Sounds
flags
like a
look
great
very,
way to get stabbed.
You're a
the
racist.
flags look very similar.
It's very, very.
And I'm only
funny,
racist against white people.
Oh, so that wasn't racism?
No,
I understand what you're doing now.
It's because the flags
Could
look
you
similar.
explain the joke again to me?
The flag of Chile and the flag of
Yeah.
Texas look very similar.
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
And they don't like that?
I don't know if they like that or not. I've never actually said that to a
Oh, so you
Chilean.
just
That
say
was
it-
it was just a throwaway fucking joke, Morgan.
Do you say it and then walk away, or do you wait for the reaction?
Oh, I'll wait for the reaction.
Okay, off the air or on the air?
Why not on the air?
Should we do a man in the street segment and have him go out there?
Let's
Yeah.
go.
I mean, Greg,
Get your wireless mic out.
I'm really excited about what you have in store for us on segment 3. This is John. What if I
Yeah, I
told
can't
you
wait.
that I was going to go ahead and unmute channel 2?
Oh, that's the thing you do when somebody's here, right?
Right, you are, John. I'm unmuting channel 2, which can only mean one thing: a celebrity guest is in our presence.
I just took a drink of
doesn't
water,
give a
and
shit
he was
tonight.
like,
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, John Zidar, what do you think about this?
"You did it again."
Welcome, if you would, to the program, John. Jeff Town. Is it Town?
Yes, Town.
Is that how you pronounce it? Jeff Town.
Thanks, man.
Jeff Town. Welcome to the program. We
How
start
else would you pronounce it?
Tony.
Tony?
Townie.
Townie.
Jeff Towney.
Townie?
Jeff
Yes,
Towney Galifo.
Townie.
There's a T. There's an E on the end.
Yes.
Which in some cultures is
This is
pronounced
America.
E. Yeah. Town.
We have a bunch of
Town
words
out.
with a B in the end, and we don't say those, though.
Rough lads. Jeff Town. Welcome
Yes.
to the program. Fantastic. Great to have you.
Thank you.
I start you off with the same question we start all of our celebrity guests off with, and that is, how would crew fans know you?
Well, I'm the founder, owner here at Zauber Brewing, and we make a point of having soccer as a big focus for us here at the bar.
Nice. How's that treating you?
It's treating us very well.
Yeah?
So we're very happy. Yeah,
A lot of people are saying that you come for the beer, you stay for the lads. Is that right? Wonderful.
I don't know if I've heard that before, but I'll go with it.
That's weird because a lot of people are saying it. I mean, I just established that. So how dare you? So tell us where you're from. Where are you from originally?
I'm a little bit from all over. My folks are from Youngstown, Ohio, which is where I was born. We've lived a lot of places.
That's terrifying.
East Coast, we lived in New Jersey for a while. Dayton briefly. Indianapolis is where I went to middle school, high school.
No shit. Where in Indianapolis?
Carmel, which is
Carmel,
the
okay.
notorious city upon the hill on the north side.
Yeah, my buddy played basketball there. Fantastic.
He was one of the 6.
Yeah. I don't know what that means. It sounds funny, though.
There's only like 12 people who are on the basketball team, and basketball's big in Indiana.
I've heard that.
And I graduated with 610 people in just my class. So
Yeah.
times
Whoa,
4.
big school.
And there were only
Jesus.
12 guys that
Oh,
make
okay.
the roster
Yeah.
in basketball-heavy Indianapolis. So you pretty much don't get to play basketball unless you're really,
Unless
really
you're
good.
sweet.
Yeah.
Or that you were sweet at 12 years old and dad made sure you kept
Yeah.
your status as you went along.
His best skill was that he was 6'10".
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he probably learned the
Yeah,
motion
that's-
offense at age 10 as well,
Not a lot
which
of
probably
movement.
helped.
He doesn't move a lot.
Which is Coach Knight's favorite famous style of basketball.
This is a Buffalo Bills podcast. I invite you, as always, to not speak of basketball. How dare you? So what? So why moving around so much? Was your dad or your mother?
My dad was in
some
sales
sort of?
for a packaging company, so it just kind of ended up being wherever he was best centrally located for his territory as it shifted.
You went wherever his package took you,
Wherever it started.
I guess.
There's a Chris Dorn joke in there somewhere.
There definitely is.
Indiana. peanuts.
Somebody's working on a hot take on it as we speak.
So how'd you end up in Columbus?
In a roundabout way, my folks moved here when I went away to college.
And you went to?
Indiana University.
That sucks for you.
Hoosiers.
They're not very good at anything.
They're very good at soccer.
Oh yeah, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, Danny
Was it
O'Rourke.
6 national championships in soccer since 1980.
Nobody can be sure.
Yeah.
John, get on facts.
Chris Dorn probably knows. Let's ask him.
Is that right?
We're doing okay.
Yeah.
Call,
So are you
call Pam.
Not
find
better
out.
than OSU.
Yeah, a little bit better. We
How are
usually
you-
kick the shit out of OSU in soccer, so that's like the only thing we have over them.
How are you guys at Rifle Club? Because we're very good. Yeah. Skeleton, very good at that too. Ohio State's like, what's a sport? Name one sport. We'll fucking start that.
Yes.
We'll win the Big Ten in it every year because there are no other teams. Back to you, John.
No.
Oh, okay. You don't play that game
You started
anymore?
this.
Yeah.
You get yourself out of it.
So your
I'm
parents,
not bailing your ass out again, Morgan.
your parents moved to Columbus when you were in college, and you were done. And you're like, I got
Got to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Cheap rent at home, so that's where I came back here.
some of the cheapest around. And when did you get into brewing?
Yeah, I guess I got into brewery first as a hobbyist, which most guys do, I guess, these days.
Is this preschool or post-school?
Post-college.
Preschool made it sound very weird.
I realized that after I said it, yeah.
You says to yourself, I have had enough of this natural light.
Right.
I'd like something a little more heavy.
I was following a woman at that time. We lived in Western Pennsylvania, and she had a colleague who did this as a hobby. And I was like, oh, wow, you can do that legally? And at the time, it was still kind of like an obscure hobby that nobody ever heard of before.
And when was this? What year around?
Oh, gosh. This must have been like, I don't know, like 16, 17 years ago. A long time ago.
Somebody get a math calculator out, John.
So yeah, it was...
He gave us definitive values.
I mean, well, what year would that make?
So like around 2000.
2000.
plus.
Okay, Jesus.
There it is. That's good.
Literally doesn't get easier.
Alex, check that math out, will you? Thank you.
And then, so I got into it as a hobbyist. It was kind of like this itch that I couldn't quite ever scratch. And then I made the foolish step to decide to go to school for it in California.
Okay, so you were done with your undergraduate degree.
Right.
And you says to yourself, I have not had enough schoolwork.
Or more, I like the joke I like to tell on tours here is like that I had to sit down with my dad and I had to explain to him, like, Dad, I've decided to not go to law school. I'm going to beer school in California.
Oh, no.
To which, like, I just got back from spending the end of my degree overseas in Europe, and to which his response was, I thought I already sent you to 2 other beer schools. Why am I sending you to a 3rd one? So it is a real place, and that was kind of like a way to take my hobby to the next level.
What made you decide to do that? Was it? I know the love of it must have been, pretty overwhelming. But were there responses from people you'd give beer to, and they're like, "Holy shit, this is good! You should sell this."
Or just like, that's a very strange hobby, and this seems to be pretty cool. And for me, I was trying to figure out what to do with my life. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
Post college, just kind of fumbling around, like kind of a bunch of dead end jobs that weren't going anywhere. And at that time, I followed my fiance to Western PA, and I got bored, with not being able to find a job or a direction, and well, I should go back to school. Well, what should I go back to school for? Well, the first choice was law school because that was the natural next step. I took the LSAT and all that kind of stuff, got ready, and I was like, I don't know. And it was getting into the hobby at the time, and in the earlier days of the internet, there was we found a website for UC Davis, and they had an extension program for brewing.
No shit.
Which was like really there's a place you can get an education for this.
Yeah.
So
that seems shocking today.
That surprises me
Right.
too. Even.
Yeah, see, now I feel like it makes sense, but 17 years ago, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was that much more obscure back then. In some ways, it was a way to escape Western Pennsylvania.
Yeah. which is
That's a legitimate thing. I mean, yeah.
And we lived in Sharon, Pennsylvania, so it wasn't even as cool as Pittsburgh or Erie.
I know exactly where that is.
It's the other side of Youngstown, across the border.
And so, how long were you out on in California?
For a year.
Okay.
It was basically a 1-year graduate program. You get a certificate at the end. And you take this international exam called what is now called the Institute of Brewing and Distilling, where you basically take this European-style exam. And
It's in French.
I was about to ask if it's in German.
Yeah.
It's in English.
Well, that's good. That's way easier.
And it's kind of a holdover of the guild system back in the day.
Of course.
And it was a way you could advance your career if you're in the industry back in the day. And now it's a way of getting accreditation so you can get into the industry or at least get a good start.
All right, so now you have your graduate degree in beer.
Right.
And
I
that's...
passed. That was the important part.
First time?
Yes, thank God. I was
Very
not going
nice.
to take that
So is it just a written test?
Yes, it's it's British style, so you write everything out.
Okay.
So it's like it's a freehand, write it out, handwriting exam. So no Scantron, and particularly when you're taking a lot of it were engineering questions. and you are not allowed to have a cheat sheet or a calculator that had formulas.
Oh, wow.
Which was a big radical thing, for us to try to do, because you
Yeah.
had to memorize formulas,
Yeah.
not just
Oh, wow.
know how to do
Jesus.
them. Which was like,
So stupid.
Okay,
it's
he's
like
way
torturous.
smarter than us. I'm scared now.
100%.
Or that's all I studied was the damn formulas for 6
Yeah.
months.
I mean,
to make sure I had
He's like, I can buy your podcast now.
I went to school for colors. So.
The concept behind that is like, first of all, I hate fucking school. I was very bad at it on every level. But like the concept, like you must memorize these equations because in brewing rooms, there's nothing.
You can't look it up ever
Right.
or have it written
having,
down.
Having said that, the practical sense of that is when you're done is to know where to go look it up.
Okay. No, that's the important thing.
Yeah.
When I onboard people at work, I always say, like, it's not important to memorize product attributes. It's important to know where to go to find the information. That's what you really need to be a master of.
Right.
Yeah.
So the test was mostly the engineering, the
Casters.
technical. It
Right.
wasn't
Yeah,
actually,
right.
is your beer any good?
Right.
It was just, the...
It was basically broke down into 3 nodes where you had the first part was raw ingredients. So barley, hops, yeast, water. What are the constituents that make that important for beer making, and what do you have to be aware of?
Okay.
And you have to think of it in the context of working for a large industrial brewer somewhere on the planet, right? And that's what the
Schlitz.
class is kind of set up for. And actually half of our class were international students from Heineken or Labatt or
International.
Like sent there
From Labatt.
on
literally that
scholarship from these companies, basically.
That was like for most of them, they were spending like a year as an apprentice.
Huh.
They finished with college or graduate education, spent a year basically shadowing, and then now go take this exam.
Yeah.
And so they send them to this class to make sure it was like a finishing exam for them. And then when they went back, then they had their accreditation, and then they can get promoted.
All right, so you get your accreditation, which is a word that I'm comfortable saying, and you then go where? Now, what is the next step? You don't obviously go to
Right. The first the when I went out there, the goal was like, hey, this could be my ticket to work for the big guys, right?
and the big guys in your mind were
At that time, there were 3. Now there are 1. But Budweiser, Miller, and Coors
Okay.
were the big, 3 international brewers at the time. And through this class, it was like, well, that might even open up my doors internationally. But when I went out there, unfortunately, I fell in love with craft beer. And the scene that was in Northern California at that time was very different than what we had here in Central Ohio up until just recently, where it was like you had all these obscure styles of beer that were not normally available, and more importantly, they
like
were
Natty
available.
Ice.
Yeah, well, in this
Bud
case,
Dry.
it was like Sierra Nevada and 21st Amendment and a lot of other, and Stone, which was just emerging at that time on the scene, and then and all these brew pubs and all this kind of popping up all over the place, where it was like you had never heard of this kind of thing in Ohio, let alone is it possible. You could have a brewery that small and people will still buy it. It was crazy.
Yeah.
So for me, that was kind of like the entrepreneurial bug of, well, maybe this craft beer thing is the avenue I need to follow down, because this could actually turn into something pretty good.
So this
cool.
is the second time now that you've made a choice that to all onlookers would be poor.
Yes.
I did not go to law school. Instead, I went to beer school.
Right.
I did not try to work for any of the big 3.
Right.
Your Ford, your GM, your Chrysler.
Which basically is turning down a nice, lucrative
Right.
starter
Yeah.
job
Yeah.
for, hey, why don't I drag around
Yeah.
hoses for just over minimum wage?
So he says to yourself, I'm already done as a lawyer.
Right.
Now, what brewery did you get your feet wet at?
Great Lakes in Cleveland.
Okay. So you went from Southern California to Northern Ohio.
Yeah,
to
so
Ohio.
I went from sunny every day, all day, all the time, to cloudy every day, all the time.
That sucks.
And Browns culture.
Oh, God. That's worse. It's worse. It's the only thing worse than beer culture, John.
Culture.
So how long were you at Great Lakes?
For 2.5 years.
Now, that had to be around the time when Great Lakes kind of exploded, was it not?
Yeah, well, they were already decent size as a regional brand, and they were part of the first wave of craft breweries that started in the late 80s, early 90s. And they were always very blessed to be smart about how they did their business stuff. They grew methodically and slowly. And by the time I got there, they were just over 20,000 barrels, which...
Is that a lot of barrels?
At that time, it was
Sounds
a
like it.
decent-sized brewery.
Okay.
Where are we? What year are we in the timeline here?
For me,
Yeah.
or for I am.
When you go there?
I was in 04 at UC Davis, and I went to Great Lakes, so 04 to 07.
Mid-aughts?
And then So for that was a mid-size growing brewery that was, like you said, just beginning to explode and starting to add some really higher tech equipment. So it was going from this kind of like crafty business to adding some really sweet equipment.
Yeah.
So it was excuse me, a great time to jump in and learn on the fly, just basically being present and being there.
So cutting your teeth in that specific timeline of Great Lakes, I imagine served you very well.
Yes.
Starting your own thing, but was there a step in between Great Lakes and Zauber?
Yeah, there was a couple actually.
Tell us all about it.
Next one, I got recruited to work for Boston Beer in Cincinnati. Boston Beer is the company name for what makes Samuel Adams Twisted Tea Angry Orchard.
Always good.
So they came to get you.
Well, I would say that they put a posting. I applied, and they interviewed me, and it went well.
And so you went to, how long were you in Cincinnati?
For a couple years.
Sounds terrible.
At Cincinnati production facility, which at that time was the only brewery they had. They did most of their brewing by contract through other brewers throughout the United States.
Sam Adams did?
Yep.
No shit.
Yeah.
Those commercials of all these, unique individuals in the brewing room in Boston going, I very much appreciate fucking Sam Adams. Back to you.
Yeah, that's Bob Cannon.
Bullshit. Fucking Bob.
Bob and Joe, I think, are the two guys that have been there forever. They look, act, and sound just like they're from Boston.
Yeah.
Right.
They look like a Bob and Joe too.
Yes, they slur their words just right, like a good Southie. Right. So
that sounded nothing.
So when you listen to them talking on the phone, when you're trying to trade recipes from the pilot plant, which is essentially what you're looking at on TV, is the exotically nice, pretty showpiece that doesn't make a whole lot of beer. As opposed
this is our marketing department brewing.
As opposed to going to Cincinnati, which was an old how would you call it? An old industrial brewer that had seen better days. That
Marge Schott Brewing Company.
Something like that. It used to be owned by a company called Hootable Schindling, and it used to grow over 100 years.
Is that a Dr.
I'm sorry,
Seuss
did you say
Hootable Schindling?
Hootable Schindling.
That is a Dr. Seuss
That is
book. I've read
absolutely
that.
That is a legitimate
Horton
beer.
Hears a Who. Hootable Schindling.
Yeah.
So anybody from
I would drink
Cincinnati,
delicious
they've
beer.
heard
I
of
would drink
Hootie
it over
Delight.
here.
Yeah.
Except in Cincinnati, so your heart shrinks 2 sizes that day because they're soulless fucks down there. FC Cincinnati.
So this it was an old industrial. Everything had been there for a long time. Equipment, so there was a lot of things to repair, and it wasn't nearly as sexy or nice as you see in the commercials. That's in Boston.
So you says to yourself, there are too many broken machines in Cincinnati.
Yes.
and
a
crippling
union
depression.
Team of people that reported to me, which was not fun to always deal with.
Buy a house for the price of a VCR. I need to get out of here.
Yeah, it was mostly just like I'd seen some pretty cool things, and it wasn't a culture I was looking for. What I fell in love with in Northern California was like what Sierra Nevada had built, which was a culture that was built on almost like a homebrew kind of Silicon Valley style of,
and more artistic brewing as opposed to, and we'll get to this a little
artistic,
bit.
yes, but I think what we in the Midwest would kind of see as more of a kumbaya business mentality,
sure,
where everybody's unpretentious, relaxed. Into helping each other and not looking for how am I going to get ahead, how am I going to stab the guy next to me, how am I going to get one more rung on the ladder.
Well, you mentioned a little bit with Sam Adams when you said on the phone trading recipes. I imagine that's something that the people whose business philosophy you kind of gravitate towards don't have. For instance, Oliver has told me before that like the brewers in Columbus have kind of this kumbaya thing where it's like, I'll keep your beer on tap, you keep my beer on tap, and we'll trade kind of,
Yeah, and that's the overall culture that works best.
Yeah.
It doesn't always work in its most ideal form, and being in Ohio, we're still relatively new to this culture. I mean, we like to think that we've been here forever, but legitimately, it's only been like 4 or 5 years that this scene has exploded here in Columbus.
You could literally be talking about crew fandom right
now. Which is a good thing, right? They're exploding together.
Is it? Beer. Okay.
Yes, yeah. And so the nature of it is to share and help one another. Like, hey, I need something fixed. do you know a good electrician could help me fix this mill that's not working, for example? This is one of the things I'm dealing with today.
Is that what you were up there tinkering with?
Yes, I was like, how the fuck do I turn this auger on?
If another caster company called me and they're like, hey, dude, we got a broken machine, I would tell them to get fucked so fast that their head would spin around.
Right. So this is where craft brewing and
that's because beer is like an art.
Right. So
I would never do that if someone called me and was like, hey, how'd you do that? I would show them how I did it.
Nobody ever tweeted #caster culture.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Wait for it.
I guess to put it in an analogy,
They will now.
The craft beer industry is a lot more like an artist colony than it is like IBM.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where like the idea is like, hey man, how you know how to do this? Oh, let me show you this really cool way I figured out how to do
super
it.
high.
First of all, let's smoke this pot.
Yeah.
Then you put the paint on your feet.
So
you're just watching Morgan waiting for the smoke weed
Northern
every day
California
drop,
accent.
and it's not happening.
Well, you
I was
move.
like, hey man, how you figure this out? Oh wow, cool.
Oh, Frankie, what are you doing here?
So
There it is.
Yeah.
Perfect timing, too.
So you move on from Cincinnati, and where's the next stop?
Moving back home here to Columbus, where my family's from, and where my ex and her family were as well. So, we started a business, started a family, and got this whole thing going.
So Zauber was the step after Cincinnati.
It wasn't the immediate one. When I first got back, I worked for Heidelberg Distributing, division of them called Wine Trends, which was kind of their exotic wine stuff, which was kind of a misfit for. But it was a great learning experience. And it was able to use my fermentation experience from Davis to my advantage to kind of fill in the gaps and be able to translate, wine as well as beer and to sell to smaller vendors.
That was short-lived, and then Zauber Brewing Company starts.
Yeah, so I was basically stay-at-home dad and start this crazy idea.
Yeah.
And at the time, there weren't like this burgeoning scene of craft brewers around. So
and what year was this? Ish.
I would say 2008 would be the best target for me because that's when my son was born.
Nice.
So that's my landmark when I was really like, I gotta do something about this. So,
okay, so the space that we're sitting in right now, I believe used to be a furniture gallery.
Sort of. It was a frame shop.
That's right. Yeah.
Called Reed Arts. It was very exotically painted in purple, red, and yellow.
Yes.
For those of you who remember the facade in the early days.
I always loved the front window, and I was like, I don't know what that business is, but it's a cool place.
Yes.
It looks like a cool place.
And I actually did, at one time, get a chance to meet the architect who designed this thing literally in the early 60s.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Really short, charming older gentleman. He's like, oh, yeah, this was kind of like an avant-garde for them to do at that time, and they designed the front facade originally for Goodwill as a store for them, as a showpiece store, so you can put their displays in the window. So that's why the intersecting boxes in the front window were there to kind of help showpiece clothing in the front window.
How far along did you have to get kind of doing your own thing before it became necessary to have your own location? And what was kind of the thought process behind starting a physical brick and mortar?
Well, I did it in stages. The first one for us was as a nano brewery, and I guess I like to credit us being the first true nano brewery here in the state of Ohio. And the idea is that we had a super small, what looked like an exotic home brewing set that we used as our starter. For me, it was kind of a way to demonstrate, I could make beer, make new recipes, which I'd always worked for another brewery, so what did I know about making something creative, right? And somewhat hide on a smaller level, make just enough beer that I could sustain life and justify my existence in a random warehouse here in Grandview around the corner from where we are now. Totally hipster appropriate, where nobody could find it, nobody knew where the heck Norton Avenue was, probably still don't to this day. And we sustained life in this warehouse for about 2 years as I was kind of building my, investment group and banker money in order to be able to get this thing going.
Yeah.
And then we found this location around the corner, which was kind of like my last-ditch effort in Grandview, because we'd kind of gone down the aisle a couple times with some buildings that just didn't quite work. So when this one came up, it was a good marriage with the landlord at the time for what would make sense for us, and it was a Fifth Avenue address in the middle of Grandview, which was literally just ready to explode, like it has on us right now. So.
Absolutely. So obviously this place is, from what people would know it as right now, is this kind of mecca for all things soccer.
Yes,
and
I like to think so.
Now we kind of marry the two conversations here, beer
Sure.
and soccer. Why did you pick soccer? Was it something that you were interested in before, this physical location?
Yeah, I mean, it always was. I grew up playing soccer at a pretty decent level in Indianapolis. Carmel High School, we had a good soccer team. So soccer was always one of those things I was into. And when you go to a large high school like that, you kind of, that's your identity. Nobody's a two-sport star when you have 600 kids competing for spots, even on the football team. So you kind of have to pick one. So I was one of the soccer guys.
Mm-hmm.
Went to Indiana and went to a school that was clearly way better in soccer than I had any business trying to walk on for. So I decided to kind of keep it as a hobbyist, if you will, just kind of play soccer with the ethnic kids in the big open fields out on campus. Came to get this thing started much later. And a couple other bumps along the way, like in Europe and whatever, where I experienced soccer with other people, and that was like the one commonality you had with people with different languages. So coming to Columbus after living on the West Coast, where I also enjoyed the idea of watching East Coast football at breakfast time, which was like this radical concept. And I was like, holy crap, I had a beer and I had eggs and omelets, and the game's over at like, noon, 1 o'clock, and you're like, wow, I have a whole other day here. It's like 2 days wrapped in one. So I like the idea of getting up early and doing something that was somewhat almost like a kegs and eggs like you had in campus, right?
Okay.
Where you did something, you could have a beer, enjoy yourself, being in a non-judgmental zone is my cute way of putting it, right? For us, the soccer was kind of like, I was definitely wanting to do something with soccer, at least pick a niche that what could we be known for. Oh, what the heck, let's do soccer on the side. Just make sure we have soccer matches on that are important and noteworthy. And even at that time, soccer really hadn't quite exploded the way it is now. Even in the last 3 or 4 years, has been pretty exciting.
Yep.
Credit to the World Cup and their national team and even our local team here in Columbus. The Crew has definitely all been a part of that mix here for us. So what was a crazy idea of why would you turn a TV on at 8 o'clock in the morning with a bartender standing there basically by himself.
You
got
to staff the place, right? You got to pay the electric bills.
So at least he was cleaning glassware at the time, right? or keeping, getting the tables down for the rest of the day on Saturday and Sunday mornings. And eventually it kind of grew. And I do have to credit Oliver Convertini, my head bar manager and operations guy, who was really a big part of growing it from like this niche thing where we had a handful of players watching it, people watching it first thing in the morning, to being now that it's like a phenomenon that we have here that we're very proud of.
ACES radio listeners would know him as Oliver with an Italian last name too hard to say.
It's amazing how easy his name is to pronounce when someone other than you says it.
Great. A lot of people are saying that you're drunk.
Yes.
No, Aussie.
It's a lot easier to pronounce than town.
That's true.
It's very boring.
With that E on the end? This Anglican asshole needs to get out of my face.
Geoff Towney? Who are you?
Geoff Towney.
Every friend I've ever had that has this spelling of Jeff, we just universally called Geoff.
Geoff, the Toys R Us kid. I've heard it all.
Yep.
Sometimes George.
Yeah.
I'm like, did you read the rest of it?
At least you have a boy's name. Thankful for that.
Yes.
So these years go past, and you're the consumers of Zauber beer begin to up lads harder and harder and harder, and you as the capo of this establishment have told them, this is how you feel. This is the team you cheer for. You're a West Ham United guy. Mm-hmm. Take that Chelsea jersey off, you fuck boy.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
Those are your quotes.
Hey man, we're an accepting kind of place.
Those are literally your quotes.
I've been here to watch games, even though I'm pretty sure this is a Tottenham hangout.
Yeah, Tottenham has adopted.
They weren't thrilled when me and the other West Ham people were here.
So Tottenham and Sunderland have been two teams that have adopted our bar as their home station, which we're very proud to have them. And it kind of gives us color and purpose too. So particularly when they're playing each other like they did last weekend, it was very fun to watch them both interact with each other.
All these Americans that just started paying attention. I hate that other group.
Yeah, and particularly these loud European sounding voices in the crowd kind of give it color and fun too.
Oh yeah,
love that. And to me, that's what kind of gives me chills up and down my back, because 3 years ago this was a crazy idea.
Yeah.
That didn't make sense.
Well, yeah, it's like we were saying earlier. Like there's fucking 20 Chileans out there right now screaming their heads off.
Yeah, to the chant of chi 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 le 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 viva Chile.
Yeah.
Which sounds great because you're like, somehow we inspired this to occur in a random bar in Columbus, Ohio.
Yep.
And they're here to enjoy themselves, have a good time, watch good soccer. And you know what? Like other people that don't have a clue what the hell they're doing are like, what are they into?
Yeah.
Maybe they're all wearing red, white, and blue. That seems to be important to them. And the random, in this case, Argentine with the
the one white guy,
the
in
white
Argentina
Argentine
jersey.
guy.
Yeah.
Now we've established why Zauber as an institution and you as a human associate with soccer.
Mm-hmm.
The real question that we're building to is as follows. You have an establishment here, people that come and they enjoy your product and they love being here, and you're supporting those who support the teams. That's great. Why the fuck ACES Radio? Why do you allow this trash program here? And this is not
You just
good.
dragged yourself in one day, man, and I just couldn't stop you.
That's
just kept going.
kind of that's exactly what
It does
happened.
feel like that's exactly what we've done.
Now, every time I'm here, and every time Greg and I walk in, somebody greets us and we go, "It's nice to be home." So like this place is our home.
Well, glad you feel that way.
But with that comes an overwhelming sense of that we are imposing ourselves upon you. We feel guilty for being here. We're taking up a huge chunk of the goddamn brewing floor, which is what it's called in the industry, Greg. Brewing floor.
That's Latin for something.
That's exactly it's brewing floor. So why allow a trash program like ACES Radio to come in here and have your name sullied?
Well,
by
number
it?
one, brewing tends to, as a job, it's an early morning job in most cases. So by the time you guys get here, we're either wrapping up or done. So the space is available. So that's a key part, right? You're not in the middle of what we're doing. You're at least coming in after we're all done.
Why is it an early morning thing? Just nature of the beast?
Yeah, because I guess tradition more than anything else.
Because it seems like this is something you could do at fucking any time.
Yeah, you could do it anytime, but as we like to say as brewers, the yeast kind of decides the path, and you just kind of have to adjust accordingly.
We say that on the podcast industry too. The yeast decides the path.
Because like it's a wild animal that does have its own cycle, and sometimes you have to respect it.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to wait a day or two. Where you
I don't
otherwise
say
would
that
like
about
to
Pam.
jump in.
I don't say that.
So
Neither does Chris Doran.
As an early morning job, it's a way to just you're getting here, you're getting things turned on, you're not being interrupted, you're able to just pound things out. And particularly for our assistant brewer Pat, he definitely likes to get here early in the morning, and like he's all done by the time the rest of us get in.
Yeah, speaking of pounding it out, I thought Pam was going to get here. I thought she was going. Anyway, thank you for having
You're
us.
trying to hold it together.
And we're not done, but I just I really always want to tell you guys how much we appreciate you. Just allowing us the space. It's a cool place to be. You're a gathering place for all kind of like components of soccer fandom, not just watching the game, not just like coming here after a match, but the Thursday nights. It's also part of the whole thing, and you allow us to kind of, even crappily as we do, add to that ambiance of soccer culture, and we thank you for that.
Well, and likewise, I think you guys do add to us as well. I mean, you add credibility, and what little you say our names several times over the broadcast doesn't hurt.
Yeah,
that's our trade, right? We're in marketing each other, but also like it's fun and it's interesting, and quite honestly, it adds a coolness factor. Like, what's going on in the back? Oh, they're doing a podcast. What kind of podcast?
That shitty one?
What's funny?
They're wearing
is
lots of yellow and black. It must be a crew thing, man.
Dortmund, right?
Jeff brings up such a good point because as the only member of the panel, which is Latin for podcast host, by the way.
Is that what that means?
I learn things as we go. I'm the only one who has like the doorway is in my line of sight. So I see people come down the hallway and sort of like peer in. Like,
is that why you
what's
sit
going
there
on
first?
back
You
there?
can peer it on particularly the female kinds walking into the bathroom.
Absolutely.
Greg loves watching girls when they're going to the bathroom.
He's been in trouble for it before.
Yeah, there's actually a law on the books called Megan's Law.
I'm actually on Zauber probation.
Yeah. Another thing about Zauber that they do is they are the ones that donate the beer or provide the beer to Murderers Row.
Oh, yes.
Every home game when you're, up in the lads with Josh and with Donnie and with Jay and everybody else, that's Zauber Brewing Company beer, specifically the Vertigo, which I love.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for that.
This is where they come for away, too, right? Isn't that where they usually are?
Yeah.
I think so.
They drink out of the Nordecke cup.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Those pieces of shit.
Yeah. That's what they do.
I hope that Nordeca cup has been washed several times in
The
between.
North Corner Cup.
Yeah. Yes. Before we let you go, I want to you and I had a conversation. It started from a couple weeks ago. I started ranting at you about MLS teams.
Sure.
And I said, it's bullshit to compare Crew SC to the Portlands, to the Seattles, to the Orlandos, NYCFCs, Atlanta, Minnesota, what have you, who come on the scene and they explode onto the scene, and they're like 500,000 people. They have 30,000 season tickets because they're the hot new thing. Mm-hmm. And I, and I'm definitely a little. I think
We're in the Midwest.
I think Crew SC is growing at a sustainable and responsible level.
Right.
I think
I would agree with that.
Every year.
Now, mind you, in the early days, it did, when they were playing at the Shoe, it felt like a Cracker Jack operation. It was like, I hope this works.
And those attendance
And
figures in
thank God
'99, when we opened the stadium, those weren't realistic either. Right. We are growing at a sustainable rate, and you kind of related it to the brewing industry because we are in this era of hyper successful microbrews.
Well, part of it too is fast growth. I wouldn't say successful just yet.
Okay, so that's a good
part
point.
of it. Part of it is we're growing, and there's a lot of new players, and there's a lot of participation. Let's wait a couple years before we see who's really making money at it and who just throws a lot of cash into it. Right now,
there's a bubble that's going to pop for some people.
We're in a venture capital kind of mode right now, and the craft beer industry was in one of these once before in the late '90s. What happened is there was a clear out stage where a lot of breweries didn't make it.
Yeah.
Or they evolved, transformed, into something else.
Got bought up.
Or just
went belly
disappeared
up.
from the face of the earth.
So what's the future of Zauber Brewing Company look like?
We got lots of things cooking in the background, most of which we can't talk about just yet. Some of,
it's called a tease, Morgan.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Both industries.
The biggest tease for me is that I'm looking forward to hopefully someday getting our product in the cans. That would be really cool. We've got the artwork done and ready to go. It's just a matter of putting it out to play.
Yeah.
So right now we're kind of in the midst of doing some internal reshuffling. Excuse me. Reshuffling of
We'll
our
edit
own.
that out. Don't worry about it.
That's that beer culture talk.
And unfortunately, everything in a brewery is expensive. So you can't just I'll just do more of this. No, you got to finance it, figure it out, put the projects together. So it's you can't just it's not as easy to evolve organically. And unfortunately, I'm just a middle class guy. I don't have Daddy Warbucks to pay for everything, so I have to kind of raise money, shake hands, kiss babies, make things work.
His name is Daddy Beaks on this program.
And sometimes segue into things that are different than what you expect. So I guess that would be the one thing that we've got some ideas cooking, what we'd like to do next and how we would like to evolve this brand. And so, there will be changes, some of which I can't quite get to explain just yet.
What about from a brick and mortar perspective?
Sure.
This location, like I've alluded to, has become home to not only ACES Radio, but a lot of various soccer factions in the soccer universe.
Sure.
I don't even know how to ask this. Are you committed to this location? That's not really what I'm asking, but
we'll see. Jury's still out.
So you're, the future is unwritten, and you're always looking.
We've got options, and it's just a matter of which one we take.
All right.
So
now tell us exactly what that means.
It's very coded on purpose, Morgan.
How dare you? On segment 3, we'll just speak for you. We'll edit your responses into we are moving to Franklinton.
Right. Or Westerville.
Oh God, no! Please, God, no!
Old Town.
No.
Well,
Cooper Stadium site, that's up for sale, I heard. Zauber Brewing
right
Company.
in the middle of
Speaking of which, where's Crew going to build a new stadium? I keep hearing rumors that they're going to do that again.
My answer would be I don't give one solid shit as long as it's not the Cooper Stadium site. Yeah. I've been to too many crap sporting events in that parking lot. I don't need to be...
It's on the south side, which it's got its own culture.
That's a nice way of putting
That's
it.
something, yeah, you can call it that.
That's very diplomatic of you.
Old school,
Yeah.
Columbus.
Yeah.
Been here for way too long.
So we, again, thanks for stopping by, but
Sure.
we're going to end this segment, as much as we don't want to, with the logical conclusion question, and that is, how can AGS attack be stopped? Back to you.
Can he be stopped, or can he only be contained?
Oh, don't inflate his ego like that.
What I'm hearing is that
not only do you have an opinion on whether or not he can be stopped, but you're aware of his existence.
That's the best answer to that question.
That's
that we've
actually
ever had.
Zauber Brewing's next investment is a building to contain AGS attack inside.
We'll call it the containment.
Oh, that's good, John. That was very good.
We'll serve him lots of beer.
Yeah, every once in a while we just flood the unit and then let it back down.
Until he drowns?
Kind of like our own little Guantanamo Bay.
Yes, we
There you
waterboard him with vertigo.
That doesn't
Tell
sound
us
like
everything.
That doesn't sound like torture.
Beer
Beer
boarding.
boarding.
Beer
Yeah,
boarding.
let's go with beer boarding. Hashtag beer boarding.
Murderers Row, you heard it. I want to see it next tailgate.
John, I'll tell you what, if the option is between not being waterboarded by delicious vertigo or being waterboarded by delicious vertigo, I choose to be waterboarded by because
We're
Hey,
bringing it
feel
back,
free to turn
so-
that into a drop. Morgan chooses to be waterboarded.
Absolutely. Fan-fucking-tastic. Well, Jeff, thank you very much for stopping by.
No worries, man.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Again,
seriously.
I'll just repeat it until, the day you kick us out of here. We appreciate you.
When you need the space for the canning assembly line.
Yeah. We're super sorry about
Any
last
minute
week.
now.
We'll give you a notice. Maybe a couple months.
I was going to say an hour or two.
Yeah. Hey, man.
Yeah,
Gotta
you
go.
guys have got to be out by 9.
Yeah.
Well,
Sorry.
if you do move, we love you, and where you go, we'll follow. And we apologize for staying a little late last week.
No worries.
Oh, yes.
We
Yeah.
got multiple lines of communication opened with Zauber. All the people were like, "You guys got to get the fuck out of here!" On Twitter, on email, text message. Point taken, and we thank you still.
No worries, man.
A
Glad to
rare
have you.
treat indeed. Thanks for stopping by. I remind everybody to stop by Zauber Brewing Company to up the lads on pretty much every day of the week. Have a vertigo. Say hi to celebrity bartender Frankie Haydock, who is apparently working here now. That's great. Good to see Frank.
Don't forget to tip him. He needs it.
Just
Zbeers.com.
watch him go on the attack, right?
He's known for that.
Yes.
Zbeers.com/hot deals. Download your tickets to the game. Is that right, Jeff? Fan-fucking-tastic. We'll be right back. You are listening to ACES Radio.
Hot, sicker than your average. Down like goose and I'm fly like Maverick. With a savage attack in a mouth like a mash. Spitting fuego, homie. It ain't tricking if it's magic illusions. Indubitably juvenile. My crew can do it and we do it well. Rock around the clock all across the nation. Got a lot of sky miles and a reputation of making earthquakes every time we land. Cause stopping ain't an option or a part of the plan. Fools get to feeling while I'm running on jet fuel. Now pay close attention cause I'm ready to let you know what I'm all about, child. I got that style that you come to love. And I'ma stay fly till the day I die, spitting fresh to death from above. Get it, David F. Man, you don't stop. David, you don't stop. We came to rock it till the city takes off. Mr. Captain, yeah, I'm an ace pilot, yeah. I wanna spin my wings and fly. To all the people in coach, yeah. To my first class folks, yeah. We'll show you how to scrape the sky.
Oh, yeah, bitches, puppets, employees of Zauber Brewing Company, John Zadar on his iPhone, and all you fools listening on your Android devices. You've made a tragic mistake of tuning into ACES Radio Segment 3. This is episode 39, and we thank you for joining us. As always, we want to give a shout-out to our Segment 2 guest, this edition, Jeff Town from Zauber Brewing Company. Thank you for joining us, my friend. We look forward to upping the Puerto Rico lads. What's going on out there, Greg? Puerto Rico?
Is
It's Chile, you racist.
Is that right?
Really? Wow.
I mean, the flags kind of look similar.
Chile's been getting really close. They banged a free kick off the crossbar, and then
Is that right?
they got a foul just outside the box that they thought was a penalty kick, but it wasn't.
But it wasn't?
Nope. It's real close. 1-0 still, I think, with 15 minutes to go or something like that.
Dude, it's like I just said to Greg when we walked back in here, like it's getting fucking real out there.
I did not want to come back here. Me and
Yeah.
Alex were embedded
Yeah,
with
we
them.
know. We were sitting there for a while.
Yeah, me and Alex were having a good time out there with those guys.
Is that what you were doing?
Yeah, basically, we were just sitting there watching the game with them.
I was like,
John's like, no, I was out there hanging out with my real friends.
The one girl's got a fucking boot up to her knee, and she's still pounding beers and jumping out of her seat. I was like, maybe don't do that. You're going to be wearing that boot for an extra amount of
Did
time.
you tell her about the capo opportunity at Crewzers FC Stadium?
No, she was scared. I didn't talk to her. She's scared.
Oh, she doesn't want
She
that?
was upping those lads.
Oh, Jesus. Well, John, what if I told you there was a cure for the scourge that is broken legs?
Is it that doctor?
That's right, John. They say the only cure for the scourge that is broken legs is hot takes.
Nothing is impossible.
Nah.
And a doctor.
Surgery?
Mostly hot takes.
And
Metal
now,
rod.
an ACES Radio exclusive.
Doran's
The
rod.
battle for the grand prize. Hot takes from the massive
not gonna stop there.
We got the grand prize.
Hot takes from Twitter.
He's heating up.
Hot takes
He's on fire.
from you.
Yes, you can.
No, you can't, Walter.
Totally can.
No, you can't. Indeed.
I do what I want.
Fan-fucking-tastic. Love having you back.
It's good to be back.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the Battle for the Grand Prize, an ACES radio exclusive. As Professional Announcer Man has told you numerous times, you should pay attention, and you should delete your account, Walter.
Yeah, Walter got to meet some Caster Connection people today.
Oh, yeah, is that right?
Yeah.
Hot mamas.
You don't have to hold him up to the microphone when you do that.
Did Walter just
It's
call
the
your mama
weirdest
hot
shit.
mama? Nice. Good job, Walter.
Moving the fuck on. Before we move to the subreddit known as
I'd like to nominate
Massive,
your mother for the Hot Mama Award.
My mother works at Worthington Fire Department. Go to agent99live.com to see my mom's band. I always mean to plug them, but I don't. They're actually a lot of fucking fun to go watch.
While we're plugging things, Glen Avenue Soap Company.
Yes! Oh my fucking God, John, thank you. I'm playing the goddamn drop. Every week, like we go to the toilet to make hot dump and weenus in between segments. And I always
Excuse
say,
me, it's called Blood and Urine. Those are the sponsors.
I was gonna say, I feel like that's
3, 2, 1.
Clap.
I always say, like, dude, sometime I'm going to remember to pimp Glen Avenue Soap Company.
Yeah.
Because it's awesome. Like, that soap, for some reason, I just love it. So
It smells great.
Yeah, it really does. Go to glenavenuesoapcompany.com
And
/
it's
hot deals.
Yeah, local company.
Yeah. So I want to read
Glen
the
Avenue over in Clintonville?
Glen Avenue in Grandview, John.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
There's a Glen Avenue, I think, in...
That's false.
Or maybe it's... I don't know.
Are you thinking
Anyways.
of Glenmar?
Walter, get on the facts.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. I don't know.
There is, yeah, no. Okay, moving on. So, updated blood point standings, John. Here we go. In first place, Lord of the Shits, after a significantly fiery hot take last week, moves into first place by himself with 9 points, followed closely by Phil Goldfarch with 8. Hug Me Shaven Organ, John, and Hired Ballerina, not spelled how you think it is, both tied for third place with 3 points apiece. A gaggled fuck, if you will, of celebrity fans with 2 points, including Buttle Surfer, Yvonne Seagull, Patrick Moore, a.k.a. the Crew Pet. Very nice, John. That was good.
That was a very sick seagull.
Did you just say honk? The Crew Pad _Ken, all in fifth place, tied with 2 points apiece. Here's the real gaggle fuck, if you will, John. Bob O'Shaughnessy, GCG Bag Tyler, Mike Hudson Sucks, Dave Edgar, Darling Thief, Dirty _Slut _Pam, John Burkle, and From User, all tied in ninth place with 1 point apiece. Bringing up the rear, Greg, and getting the bulk, none other than AGS Attack with 1 point. Your thoughts?
Are you sure that's not supposed to be negative 1 point?
I mean, we'll see after tonight's hot takes, John. Tune in to find out. We move now to the subreddit known as The Massive, and I remind you, as always, that these hot takes are organized automatically by their level of fiery fucking hotness.
And this week you've actually organized them.
This
in the
week,
same
actually,
way.
I don't believe he's organized them at all. I believe someone else may have done it.
Okay, it's National Puppy Day. Bailey fucking created the goddamn hot take thread. It's very funny. Everyone's going to laugh about it. Nope, turns out they fucking hate you. I hate that. And I know, like, so I got to work today, and, like, the first thing I always do is, like, I get on the Massive, and I'm like, and I just click new. Like, I want to see if anybody's fucking posted it yet, right? And I know that, like, me freaking out about it and saying I fucking hate it makes it more likely to keep fucking happening.
Absolutely.
Yes.
But, like, come on. Please don't. Like, I'm a creature of habit, man. I need to get the alerts to know that people
I mean,
are
you
doing
could have
it.
still made a thread and everyone would have ignored it.
Oh, John, I fucking tried that
okay.
when fucking Derek Hughes did it last time, and nobody posted on mine. I deleted it.
We all know who the favorite person in the family is.
Hey, welcome on Periscope to Shut Up, Josephine.
Hey.
I have to imagine that is somebody related to Josephine's mom. John, your
Maybe.
thoughts?
I don't know. I yelled at her a lot.
Shut Up, Josephine has left the stream. Okay, so there's two options, right, to organize comments by. One is best and one is top. I don't know what both.
What's
of them
the difference?
Right, they're both fucking vague.
It feels like variations on the same theme.
So usually I change it to top,
Right.
but now I'm leaving it best. So we'll see how this works out. Our best voted comment this week.
We're off to a great start.
Comes to us in 3, 2, 1. Clap. Comes to us from none other than user Mike Hudson Sucks, John, with 10 points. Quote, Whose fucking dog is this? End quote. End quote.
Oh, he actually wrote end quote.
Yeah, he sure did, because he's hilarious. Walter the Raccoon, your thoughts?
I liked it.
That's a good one.
It's clever.
Moving the fuck on from user_Ken with 9 points. All right, that's less than 10.
John Zadar has coughed away from the microphone.
Welcome to Hootie Smurf. It's their first day on Periscope. Fuck the Portland Timbers.
But we'll get to that later.
From user_Ken with 9 points, quote, Columbus Crewzers lead the league in expected goals. Greg Benson leads the panel in expected deportations. John Zadar brings up the rear for expected minutes on the podcast. Morgan leads the panel in expected mispronunciations. How fucking dare you?
Yep.
Chris Doran leads the country in expected inches. End quote. Greg Benson, your thoughts? You're choking to death?
That's really good, actually.
That's pretty good.
Who was that one?
That was from _Ken.
_Ken.
Now, I would say that is potentially Hatake because everybody knows that Doran is beast moding it in the downstairs department.
Yeah. As we speak.
Anybody got time for that? Moving on to Pippa_Nips.
Pam got time for that.
10 points. See, this is... Pam's a slut. Okay, Pippa Nips with 10 points.
That's higher than the first two.
It's also higher than...
I know. I can't win, John.
Are you sure you haven't just sorted it out by the
I feel
same...
like top worked. Maybe you just stick with top.
It didn't fucking work. From Pippa Nips with 10 points, quote, in honor of Crewzers' new innovative partnership with Uber, I've imagined what ACES radio-themed Ubers driven by members of our favorite podcast would be like. Morgan drives a BMW with license plate that reads Hansy1 and seems like the best choice for a ride, but has a 1-star rating. Yet very few people have any idea why. That's relevant. Everyone hates me and no one fucking knows why. Okay. Has a tiny dog in the front seat, which he calls his child, but the whole way to your destination, you can't help but hear a thumping from the trunk. And the muffled sounds of a young boy saying, Daddy, can I sit up front with you now? Nope. Everyone hates that.
Oh, that's great.
John Zadar picks you up 30 minutes after he says he will be there.
You've got people thinking I'm late all the time.
Well, you are. His license plate reads PFGs, but do not ask him what that means. Beware, because he may just quit driving 2/3 of the way through your trip.
Ain't nobody got time for that trip.
Boom, roasted, and has a heart to roll in on Periscope. I remind you, as always, the more you give, the closer you get to John's penis.
The more you receive.
Greg Benson only plays Aussie music the whole drive. Will offer you Arizona iced tea, but it's not what you think it is.
What the fuck?
Keeps talking about giving his man balls to a guy named Bobo. And finally, celebrity guest car. Driven by a different person each week, you are told upon entering that this is the rarest of rare treats. The whole ride, there's a constant buzzing in the background, which no one seems eager to fix. Sometimes the car is driven by a guy named Chris Doran, who has affinity for the word fuck. End quote. Yep, everyone loves that. John Zadar, your thoughts?
Who did that one? Pippa Nips?
Pippa Nips.
That's a good one. I like that.
As opposed to Pippa Chips.
Started strong, dipped down a little bit when you got to me, but then rose back up with Greg in the guest car.
Just like your PFGs themselves, John. Moving on. From user Hired Ballerina, not spelled how you think it is, Greg, with 8 points. Quote, Hola, shitlord, since we haven't seen a Tony Chani hat trick this season, let alone seen Tony Chani, I've decided we need to recognize some other hat tricks that have happened. Greg Benson hat trick. Chug a Foster's, punch a kangaroo, get deported. All right. John Zadar.
That's lazy. I'm sorry. You can do better.
I thought it was a proper
punching
roasting.
a kangaroo in America is kind of a feat.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you pretty much got to go to the zoo.
And it's definitely deportation worthy.
Yeah, they frown upon
Deportation?
Deportation worthy.
Yeah, we'll edit that out.
Sorry, that was my Morgan impression.
1, 2, 3, clap.
You fucker. John Zadar hat trick. Cough into the microphone, view some adult lady boobies, whip out the PFGs.
Sounds like a great weekend.
That's exactly what you do.
That sounds like
my last weekend.
Morgan Hughes hat
she's
trick.
going to love that. Great.
Mute channel 2, press an incorrect button, forget to record segment 3. That's too real, bruh.
Forget to record your first 2 errors.
Me in real life. Andres Mendoza hat trick. A line of Coke, a shot of Jack, convert a penalty kick. A lot of these are Hatakes.
All within the box, actually. There.
Enough about
At the
Pam.
same time, there's a line. There's a line on the field missing at Mark Frey Stadium.
The
now.
ref sprays it down, and Andre snorts it back up.
Exactly. That's why it's vanishing spray. Yeah. It's not. It doesn't actually disappear on its own. It's just Mendoza coming along.
He's at every game.
If you've liked that joke, I remind you as always to tune into every big soccer thread where that joke was made. Moving on. Chris Dorn hat trick. The same as the Andres Mendoza hat trick, but instead of burying a penalty kick, you bury your man meat into a podcast host's significant other.
Oh, Jesus! Good thing I'm single.
How is Master Report going to come back from that?
I don't
They
know.
don't.
Yeah, they probably don't.
None of them have
Josephine's
girlfriends.
mom hat trick. The entire ACES radio panel 3 times, back to back to back. Oh, shit. Oh, God. And finally... Finally, hang the DJ hat trick. Log into your Fire Greg Berhalter Big Soccer account, compose a 3-page opus on why Tony Aces is failing, and do the Buffalo Bills dance to Goodbye Horses as seen in Silence of the Lambs. Hashtag
goodness.
prenatal Thurman Thomas. End quote. That was very fucking good. Greg Benson. Your
That's
thoughts?
good. I like that one. Oh man.
my God.
John
Who
Sparrow.
did that one? Hired Ballerina?
That was Hired Ballerina, which I remind you is not spelled how you think it is, John.
I don't know if anybody knows how hired. I mean, I guess that. I mean,
I'm
they're
looking at it
words
right now.
that are real.
Moving on from user RP Gardner. Sorry, this is a new guy, so I did. Quote, capo, capo, capo. End quote.
Was that another hat trick?
There's 3 of them.
I think there's 3 of them.
Is that the Galifo hat trick?
Reply from Slice of Tony. Just that sideways face going like this. And that has -2 points.
God, I was right. It was the Galifo hat trick.
Boom, roasted. Moving on from Bonesy10 with 7 points. Quote, hang the DJ should go back to a private account and make Cruiser Nation great again. Hashtag heaven on Hudson Street.
Heaven on Hudson Street. It's actually the post-game festivities for HSH.
I was going to say, that pretty much sums up most of Chaz's nights.
I'm going to go ahead and shitlord myself. I mean, it's like lowercase. Okay. John Zadar, your thoughts.
No, I'd like to hear your excuse. What was it going to be? Lowercase what?
It's heaven on lowercase, and then Hudson is capitalized, but street is not.
Are we sure this isn't an anagram for something?
It's for Hug Me Shaven Work. I think so. Did Scott Sedley unprivatize his account on Twitter? Is that what we're talking about?
I don't know. I don't keep track of who is and isn't privatized.
I've asked you to do that a lot of times, John. What the fuck? Greg Benson, your thoughts?
I have no idea what we're talking about.
It seems the longer crew people interact with us, the more likely they are to become privatized. So that makes sense.
That's actually... You might get the blood
Shane,
points this week.
Rambo Gooner, some other people have definitely all gone from open accounts to closed accounts, like in the time that I've come to know them.
Well.
I don't know if maybe we're just like causing people to lose their jobs, or
I mean, ideally, that's.
I mean,
what
I went from
radio
public
says.
account to no account. I don't know if that.
Jesus.
I skipped step 2.
No. Up the lads, Greg. Moving on from user Bonesy10 with 7 points. Nope, that was the last one. And we'll edit that out in 3, 2, 1.
clap.
Moving on from user Lord of the Shits with 6 points.
No matter where you're holding him, he leaps to the microphone to say it.
It's ridiculous.
Hilarious.
Like, it's getting more disturbing every week. Like Greg treats Walter the raccoon as if he's like a literal living creature at this point.
Well, he kind of is.
I mean, he actually.
We've
is.
seen the video.
Yeah.
Greg was nowhere to be seen in that video. Yeah, push your button.
Is that right?
Which one are you trying to find?
I don't know.
Scroll.
They're all on
Keep
Apple's, guys.
scrolling. Keep scrolling.
There it
you
is.
go. I haven't heard this one in a while, actually.
It's no karaoke jam. I don't know where any of the goddamn buttons are.
Oh, man. It's almost like there's got to be a better program.
Remember when the fucking drops were alphabetically organized, which was hard enough as it was, because where are those letters? Like, does M come before N? No one knows. J? I don't even use that. Moving on. Why? I mean, why?
I don't even use that.
From Lord of the Shits with 6 points, quote, your podcast description is a bit misleading. I went ahead and rewrote it for you. ACES Radio is a perfectly formed Latin podcast about the Buffalo Bills FC, hosted by father/boyfriend of the year Morgan Hughes, racist immigrant success story Greg Benson, and part-time host John Zadar.
You guys laugh at that joke equally hard every
so
time.
Funny. Anybody that
It's
mentions
still
it,
funny, that's
it's
why.
blood points. That's how it works. The hosts are so bad that people mainly tune in just to hear their own contributions to the show via segment 3.
Sounds like Chile may have just scored.
Is that right?
There ain't that many Argentinian fans out there.
I was going to say Texas must have scored. No.
I'm Mr. Chile. I just scored. I'm
Mr.
from Peru.
Chile.
Mr. Chile.
I'm Peruvian.
Do you know any Chilean players?
Carl. Sanchez. Sounds about right.
That's close. You got half of it
I want
right.
to open a restaurant across the street from the nearest skyline and just call it Mr.
Carl
Chile.
Sanchez.
No, Carl Sanchez is Mr. Chile.
Mr. Chile. I'd eat that.
Oh, fuck. I'm really close to giving you my blood poison. That was good.
I'll take it.
Holy shit, this would be the first time 2 of the hosts have ever gotten blood poison.
Yeah.
And none of them are me. So.
Do you even have 2 blood points to give out?
Anybody got time for that? Lord of the Shits continues. Since all the podcasts must be associated with breweries, they record at Zauber Brewing Company in the back room. That also doubles as a stolen TIFO storage facility. ACES Radio is also a diversion created by Chris Doran as a way to visit Pam on Thursdays to work her harder than a well-oiled caster. Hashtag Thursday fundamentals. End quote.
I like that.
Can I take this one? You don't oil a caster, you grease it.
Oh, God.
What the
Lube
fuck?
is lube.
You're just going to pour oil on it? Oh, the fucking wheel isn't rolling, Bob, so I poured a bunch of fucking oil on it. Anybody ever said that?
I actually meant to bring this up earlier. I don't think he can control that noise anymore.
I don't think so either.
I think it's like a fucking weird OCD tick now that he just does.
On the way to Zauber every single week, Morgan and I will listen to the podcast in the car, which is like basically just our narcissism coming out.
Sure.
But we masturbate while we do it. It's great.
Yeah.
Both of you in the same car?
Yeah, mutually.
Walter and, we masturbate the puppets. Which is worse.
I don't want to talk about it.
I have so many questions, and I'm not going to ask any of them.
I'm not answering them.
Moving the fuck on. From user Hey, free sandwich with 7 points. Quote, our glorious victory Saturday will be largely due to our new designated player Capo signing. This will lead to a cleansing of hashtag beer culture casuals and finally bring truth and integrity back to soccering team Columbus Crewzers FC. End quote. Fuck yeah. John Zero, your thoughts?
Yeah, why not? Who even knows at this point?
That's what we're here for, right?
Who even knows?
Up the lads, win the stands, integrity, soccering teams.
A lot of people are saying that's how you win games.
Jeff Town limping around like a rough lad in the background. What'd you do to your foot? Oh, he hurt
between
it.
earlier and
somehow.
now, or were you hurt earlier and I didn't notice? Oh,
No, he's been limping
I
around.
was going to say between segments, like
That's what I was-
he was
yeah.
out. He was out there up in the Chilean lads.
Did
pretty
they
hard.
just score? Is that what we heard?
Argentina
okay.
won.
They were yelling, so I thought maybe they had tied it or something. Oh, it was.
Ah, wow.
Okay.
You know what? Unfortunately. Moving the fuck on. From user It's Me, Pam, with 6 points. Quote, this hot dog is fine, I guess, but it's only 1/3 as tasty as the Chris Doran dog. End
It's
quote.
a running hot take.
I mean, yeah, she actually did say. John, what are your thoughts?
What? I don't understand what.
It was a small guy saying I have a small
Oh,
penis.
that was the hot dog thing from last week.
Yes,
absolutely.
It's a running
good,
gag.
Good. I like it.
Oh, do you like that? Walter the Raccoon, your thoughts?
That's a running gag.
Gagception. It's also what Thursdays at Doran's house are called.
Moving the fuck on to AGS attack with 3 points.
The problem is that I couldn't actually say that because I couldn't bring my voice up high enough while not laughing.
Very funny.
Yeah.
Now we'll edit that out.
Yeah, a lot of people have
1,
voice
2,
problems.
3, clap.
AGS attack has plus 3 points. Quote, look at me.
Okay, switch it to top and not best.
Yeah, no shit. You can skip my hot takes, but you can never end my stupidity. Anyway, what I think is really wrong with Nordeca is that there is not enough coordinated jumping. As I've mentioned before, last year I Seattled, or went to Europe to learn from the hardest of the hardcore Green Street hooligans at Euro 2016. And I noticed...
Hold on, didn't he say this last week?
Did we read his hot take last week? I don't think we did.
Didn't I swear to God he said this last week?
Should we just move on?
Wasn't there? That would infuriate him. So maybe, yeah.
Moving on. From user Mentored with 3 points, quote, with the era of capos just around the corner, Greg Benson gets his good friend and favorite president, Donald Trump, to step in and sign an executive order to ban capos from the Nordeca. Tony Galifo vows revenge upon Morgan and his band of rebels. Meanwhile, John Zadar, a.k.a. Fake Capo Tony, heads off to Kansas with PFGs in one hand and megaphone in the other. End quote. Nope. Those words were too hard for me to say. And also, my favorite part of that was like, okay, Greg somehow involves Donald Trump, and then Tony decides to hate me for it. Like, that is the most Hotake of Hotakes.
Yeah, that really is. Like, that's as legitimate a representation of actual hashtag crew culture.
Someone in Crew Fandom has upset me. Morgan Hughes is to blame. You might get a blood point for that.
Yep.
Moving the fuck up. Really? Okay, moving on from user moving the fuck on. Are you serious? From user moving the fuck on with 3 points, quote, with Kai gone, who will pout on the pitch when the Timbers inevitably win 2-1 this week? End quote. Greg, your thoughts? God, I fucking hate it when they do this. End quote. I love women's soccer, especially the Portland Thorns. They may not be able to drink. Jesus. They may not be able to dunk, but god damn it, their fundamentals are amazing. Hashtag Sunday fundamentals. End quote. They may not be able to drink. That is not the official stance of ACES Radio. Women can have beer, John. I mean, the fact that
But you maintain that they cannot dunk.
I mean, Lisa Leslie dunked once, right?
I don't know who the hell that is.
That girl from
Serena
UConn?
Williams?
No.
I bet she could dunk, though.
She can do whatever the fuck she wants. Greg Bouncer, your thoughts?
She's like the female Chris Doran.
Is that right?
Yeah, pretty much.
She's got a 12-inch dick.
Doing with Pam right
She can
now?
dunk and do whatever the fuck she wants. That pretty much sounds like Doran to me.
Did you just say Serena Williams and Chris Doran are having a three-way with Pam? Is that what you just said?
I mean, like, what did she do? Okay. From user Darling Thief.
15 love.
With
Can't wait
2
to see
points.
Serena Williams hot takes next week.
I believe Darling Thief brought us the extremely long anagram post last week.
Yes.
So we look forward to this. From Darling Thief with 2 points, quote, with the 3-man backline being the talk of the Crewniverse this week, I feel that another tactical topic has gone undiscussed. What is the proper capo formation in the Nordeca? There's always been a major oversight in not discussing if a 2 in the front or 3 in the front capo set is needed. If there are 3, will that block the view for all the stolen tifos? How could the lads on the pitch win a match if we can't win the stands? Next, we have to address personnel. It's already been well established that Morgan has ruined the Nordeca, so we need to replace him with the hero we don't need, but the hero we deserve, Bailey Hughes, with Walter the Raccoon as his second in command, end quote.
How adorable. I'd follow their lead.
So there's just like a...
We would bark down the opposition.
Like the leadership committee is just my dog and Greg's puppet.
It's just a big 5-foot by 5-foot metal stand with a raccoon chasing your dog around for 90 minutes.
Bailey's asleep on the floor next to a puppet. And all the crew fans are like, what do we do?
Everyone just slowly lays down and goes to sleep as well.
Enough about Pam.
We win 9-0.
Nobody was there to watch it.
Did it really happen? Moving
Allegedly,
on.
right.
User the Landshark 42 with 0 points. We are into the 0. Okay.
No one voted for him.
No.
Or 12 people voted for him and against him.
That's what we
Isn't
don't
that how it
know
works?
about top and best. Why isn't great an option? I'd like to sort this by great.
Maybe best is just...
Neither one of them fucking
Maybe
organize
best
it.
is just total positive votes. And top is
I'd like
net
most
score
to least.
Score? Yeah.
Moving on. From user the Landshark 42, quote, glad to see Morgan getting into the spirit of National Puppy Day by letting his beloved Bailey run the hot takes thread this week. Does this mean he'll make a special guest appearance in this week's episode? Will Morgan ever show this kind of love to his son, Derek? Tune in next week to find out. End quote.
Well, neither of them are here. So
John, what are your thoughts?
I guess you don't love either of them as much as you claim.
Oh.
Are you talking about Bailey for real?
Sounds like it.
I love him more than anyone has ever loved anything in the history of the universe.
Really?
When he dies, I die.
Is that how that works?
Yeah.
So
I mean, breaking
what, we
news
got,
to
like
the ultras.
2 more years.
I'm sure everybody's going to be really excited about that.
He's an older dog.
I gave birth to him.
I'm allowed to make those jokes. I'm bearing
No,
a
you're
cat
not.
in 12 hours.
I mean, that's fine. Just don't ever talk about Bailey dying.
I mean, I didn't birth it out of my mangina like you did.
No,
but-
butthole.
Oh,
It came out of my
excuse me,
butthole.
your butthole.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Like, so what happens is you grow them in your stomach.
Oh.
And then you poop them out.
What do you eat to start the growth?
Dogs.
Oh, you eat other dogs?
Yeah.
So how do you know which one's
Yeah,
Bailey?
like the kind you want. You have to. Did you eat another of that?
I ate a half Yorkie and
Why
I ate
wouldn't you
half
just-
a Bichon.
Why would you just take that Yorkie and keep it?
Well, Bailey's not I wanted half and
You
half.
wanted half and half.
Yeah, I just called
So
it
did you
designer
eat-
dog.
Did you eat the entirety of both, or just half of it?
No, just half of one and half the
And
other.
what'd you do with the other halves of these corpses?
I buried it next to Kevin Burns down in the stadium.
So why hasn't Pam given birth to several footlongs?
Oh, that is just a great joke, Greg. It's a
there's
shame there's no studio audience.
Wiener
to laugh.
dogs pouring out of her butthole right now.
Sweet mother of God. Moving on from user CrewGooner88 with 2 points, somehow lower than 0 Point Shane. Quote, Bastion is now a Bridgeview. Which aging European star would you like to see in the black and banana? End quote.
I don't want blackened bananas.
Just answer it.
You should eat them before they get to that point.
That's right, Drew. Greg Benson, what aging European star would you like to see?
Good question. I would take. I don't know. I'd have to think about that.
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah, well,
What is he? He's got 30 now.
I'd take Zlatan.
Yeah,
He's like 39 or something.
Why not? Morgan doesn't know any
I don't know any
European
of
stuff,
those.
so he
No
has
idea.
nothing to contribute.
Morgan is Googling the Swansea lineup as we speak.
Welshman number 10. That guy's probably good.
How many Welshmen actually play for Swansea anymore?
Moving the fuck on from user Buttle Surfer with 1 point. Quote, while Columbus police dashcam video deletion news recently broke, another series of dashcam videos has recently been released. These videos contain footage of a nefarious group of celebrity fans calling themselves the Emerald City Collective. These videos show footage of Nate Beckman detained for his involvement in an illegal Colombian coffee Lubriderm lotion running operation.
Jesus, what?
Okay. Yvonne Seagull flying right over Dublin and shitting on the field of concrete corn below. Alex Thomas for possession of the drum that always plays out of time in the Nordaco, and thus co-ruining the corner with Morgan.
Oh shit, he's not here anymore.
Too real. Katie Mitchell for possession of strawberry stuff with intent to Katie Mitchell, everyone. With intent to distribute to local Huston
To my
hooligans.
Katie doesn't share strawberry stuff.
Katie fucking Mitchell, everyone. It's a shame you
I love how your first, or Katie's first noise was basically the same as your impression of Yvonne Seagull.
To my mouth?
Honk.
I fail to see the difference.
Katie Mitchell for possession of strawberry stuff with intent to distribute to local Huston hooligans in an attempt to end childhood sobriety by 2020. The stank
noble
lord
cause.
detained and held for not being funny, then deported to Amish country.
That's rich.
Oh,
The plot.
he doesn't come back from that. Uber doesn't run out there.
How it thickens, John. Finally, Alex Stanek being caught with a car full of all the jerseys for the upcoming Crew gear sale. Dublin and Crew fandom would benefit from the deletion of all of their accounts. End quote. Literally nothing in that was good.
Who was that?
That was fucking Buttle Surfer.
Oh, it was?
Except Buttle Surfer's proper roasting of the Stank Lord.
That was a pretty good roast.
Yeah, calling him out.
Calling out names.
Buttle Surfer roasting the Stank Lord. Greg Benson, your thoughts?
Yeah, we get it.
I think that Buttle Surfer should be given a trophy for roasting Andy Stanky.
Okay.
That's a good idea.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Enough of you, Greg. Moving on from user Slice of Tony. Welcome Slice of Tony to the hot take thread.
Shit.
His inaugural post with -1 point, as is tradition. Capo Galifo will injure his vocal cords at a metal show Friday and will be questionable to Capo Saturday's game. End quote. John Zadar, your thoughts?
It sounds like a Hotake.
Yeah, support is support, and
Is that
Capo's
right?
Capo's Capo.
I
that right?
appreciate the effort, but
What about talking in third person? Is that allowed?
you do it.
I mean,
Well,
you know,
Chaz does.
people like Buttle Surfer would never do it.
No,
They
he
would never
do that.
Speak in third person, roasting Andy
Yes,
Stank.
Morgan would never say, continuing champion, number 1, hands and I.
How many of those are? Oh, a couple more.
27 of them. Oh, Jeff, you're leaving? Thank you, sir. Thank you for stopping by the program.
Yes, thank you again.
A rare treat. Go to zbeers.com/hot deals. And, well, I'm going to get you this thumb drive. Yeah, I will. Because you want to show your family?
Or just keep it for posterity.
You will. Okay, so for the audience at home, you would like me to give you a thumb drive of Aces Radio episode 39 so you can store it?
Or you can just look at it on the shelf.
You just look at the thumb drive?
Hey, there's a podcast. If you ever wanted to listen to it again, it's totally right there.
It's right there. I won't, but I could. Jeff Town, thank you very much.
Yeah.
What a rare fucking treat it's been.
Thanks again, Jeff.
Go to zbeers.com/hot deals/Jeff Town for the story of Jeff. Moving the fuck on from user blank91 with 0 points. By the way, good job, Capo Galifo. Referencing yourself in third person, as it's first person, that's great. John, your thoughts?
What? We already did this.
Is that right?
Moving on
from user blank91 with 0 points. Quote, things I dream of seeing one day. Number 1, a day when the top hot take isn't whose fucking dog is this, since it's neither good nor spelled correctly. That is crossed out, and Guillermo is good is written instead. Number 2, a day when we all acknowledge that we are all but humble subject of His Royal Highness, the Duke of Reynoldsburg, user Lord of the Shits. You earned it, buddy. Number 3, a day when we put our big boy and girl pants on and don't have stupid fights about the process by which we get drunk and sing songs about men wearing tight-fitting shirts running around on a field. And finally, a day when user AGS Attack is a celebrity guest so that he can explain himself. He knows what he did, end quote.
Wow.
John
Who was
Star,
this?
That was blank 91. I will remind blank 91 that we have invited AGS Attack on the show many fucking times.
Yes.
He is literally more terrible at responding to and understanding Twitter messages
as he is
hot takes.
Hot takes, yeah.
That's how you need to communicate with him.
Yeah.
It needs to be through hot takes.
Like, he'll respond 3 weeks later, and he'll just be like, yep. I'm like, well, that's not a response to anything that I said. And frankly, I don't fucking even remember what we were talking about 3 weeks ago, bro. I even offered to let him come here and play his little violin.
He still didn't. He wasn't about it.
Is that what it's called? Bass guitar.
Masturbate.
That's right. Greg Benson, your thoughts?
Moving the fuck on.
Nah, I'd like to get Walter's thoughts on that.
Moving the fuck on.
Oh.
That one? What's that one called?
I don't even know what that one's called.
That's quite clearly Kyle.
That one.
Kyle Kamara. Kyle Kamara, Papa. There he is.
Moving the fuck on.
Moving the fuck on. From user...
Here's looking at you, Walter.
See?
RP.
Thanks to crew, baby, ain't got shit on Kyle to
doing
pass
it now that we've moved on, you guys decided to do it? That's fantastic.
How many are left?
3 more. From user RP Gardner, quote, whose dog is this?
Again?
End quote.
I'm getting a
Is
sense
this
of
one
deja
spelled
vu
right?
here.
Apparently the first one wasn't. You read it.
What is it called when somebody just does the same hot take as somebody else? Like a hot take is a hot take, and then a hotaki is stating fact.
Copyright.
Yeah, what is
Plagiarism?
Maybe need to get the lobster lawyer on.
Yeah.
Moving on.
I don't know if people want to hear that for a third time.
Based on the downloads,
he's been on
they
twice,
do not.
hasn't he?
Based on the downloads, they do not. Moving on from user Doob_E with 0 points. Quote,
Oh,
hey,
this is Alex Thomas's.
Is it?
I
see what you did there, Drugs.
Very clever. Very clever.
Quote, hey, you douches, just a friendly reminder that references to your constellation of other douches and you douches doesn't make for a good podcast. End quote. Yep. It's pretty good. I mean, this is somebody who clearly hates us.
One more time, real quick.
Hey, it's written very poorly. Hey, you douches, just a friendly reminder that references to your constellation of other douches and you douches doesn't make for a good podcast.
Constellation of douches and other douches.
Like,
that can't be the word he meant to use, constellation.
It's the word he did use, he or she. What they're saying is like...
I just wanted to double check you weren't known for reading them correctly.
Thank you, John. It's fantastic to have you back. What they're saying is, this podcast has too many inside jokes. And to that, I would say, that's a hotake, as we know that. And joke is on you.
I hate...
Because this is a Bills
We're also
podcast.
not here to make a podcast that everyone enjoys, so...
No, we're certainly not.
The off button is... Well, you should know where it is, because it's the same one as the on button.
Yeah, it really is.
Morgan, I believe the correct expression is the trick is on you.
The trick is on you. I did say that last week.
You did say that.
Listen, haters, I have neither the patience nor the fucking crayons and construction papers it will take to adequately describe to you how to press that sideways triangle that you press to engage the show Press it again. It'll stop the show.
Actually, I think it becomes the pause icon.
That's
It's
too
too
complicated.
thin
yeah.
rectangles.
I told you I didn't have fucking crayons to explain it, Greg. I'm trying to dumb it down a little bit. Your thoughts?
You're very good at that.
Boom roasted.
I don't know how he comes back from that.
Moving on, last
puts his
hot
beer
take
down.
of the week from user Phil Golfart with -1 point.
Oh, is Phil Golfart the new AGS attack?
Perhaps, John, perhaps. Tune in to find out in 3, 2, 1. Quote, I realize this isn't a hot take, but I need a friend right now. I've made a tragic mistake, one much worse than listening to this stupid podcast. Not pulling out was a bad choice. Unless I scrounge up $450, I will know whose fucking kid this actually is. I'm humbly asking for your support with my GoFundMe page entitled The Cure for the Scourge That Is Phil's Baby. Google that shit. Thank you for your support. Hashtag aborters abort. Oh my God. I don't even know if I can read the second one.
What? Like, let me see it.
Hashtag, oh God. All right. You
Go
know,
on.
That.
Hang on, I got to see this.
I mean, I think that's funny. But I can definitely see how that would potentially be offensive.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
I'll say it.
Number one. Okay. You want to do it?
What was it? Number one hangers boy.
Number one hangers boy after an abortion joke.
You got to say it the way it's written. Number one hangers boy.
Hashtag number one hangers boy.
That's more like it.
And
Man, if only that had been Derek's tagline. You could be free of him.
Fatality.
I have no idea how he comes back from that, and he doesn't because he's not real, and also he's dead, and I'm his stepdad.
Literally nobody you've said is dead is actually dead.
Yeah, a reminder that the hangers joke is a joke because that literally happens, so if you are against women's reproductive rights, you are helping make that happen.
Yeah.
So if you're offended by it, go fuck yourself.
There you go.
That's my
Okay,
hot take,
well.
John. Your thoughts?
Scorching.
Fire? Firing?
I don't remember any of these, by the way.
Yeah. Fantastic. We are done with hot takes. Greg Benson, you have 3 blood points to give away.
I do.
Go ahead.
My first one is going to Phil Golfart because, I like the fact that it had negative votes, and I think I understand why, which is part of the reason I liked it. So, yeah.
All right.
Underscore Ken is getting one. And it was Pippa Nips with the Uber take, right?
Yes.
Was it that one? Yeah. Pippa Nips is getting another one.
My first blood point goes to Pippinips as well. Where's the button? There it is. And then there's one more that I really fucking liked.
Could you be drunker on the other side of that garage door, please?
I'm sure they
Is
could.
that where
That
that's
sounds like
coming
a
from?
challenge.
Yes.
Jesus. John, who's your blood point go to? I got to find the one.
I just have one still.
Yeah.
The Phil Golfart one was pretty funny.
Phil Golfart?
Yeah, I guess.
Fuck. I can't find the one I like.
Fuck.
All right. I guess blank 91 gets mine. Who's yours, Phil Golfart?
Yeah, I guess so.
All right.
I don't remember any other ones, so.
Yeah. And no one cares.
None of them were particularly, had me on the ground rolling like Lord of the Shits last week anyways, so.
It's tough to follow that up just as a hot take or as a collection of hot takes.
Right.
It's very difficult. I remind you, as always, that you can turn this off at any moment. this week's is bad. Is that right, John?
It's a little late to warn them of that. Maybe cut that into the
If you're
beginning
hearing
of
the sound
show.
of Morgan's voice, it's already too late.
I did say that, so.
Yep.
Moving the fuck on to score predictions, want to update last week. Greg Benson, you said that it would end in a 1-1 tie.
I did.
My friend, that was incorrect. It was a 2-0 Crewzers FC win. You get 0 points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
I don't believe in God, Morgan. You know this.
Love that joke. Look forward to it every week. John Starr, the wet boy, number one handsy artist. Is that what people are saying?
Nope.
You said it would be a 2-1 Crewzers FC victory, and while that was not true, it was a victory. You get 5 points. May God have mercy on your soul.
Ooh, -5.
That's right. Don't ruin it. It's coming up next. Morgan Hughes, aka number one handsy boy, number one championship boy, the lad with the number one trophy, man.
The lad, but not the number one dad.
Number one dad, sometime in the future, possibly, because my son Derek Hughes is dead. You said Crewzers FC would tie 2-2. That was incorrect. It was very close, though. One team did score 2. A lot of people are saying you were really close. Tremendous.
That's like saying I got it right because I got close to right because I predicted 2 goals in the game.
Like that,
I was
Greg.
Closest, if anything.
It's nothing like that because
we
I'm
were 1
saying
goal
that
away
I'm
from
closest.
me.
I'm not saying I get any
2
points.
goals away from yours.
I'm just saying that I was really close, and I'm very good at this.
May God have mercy on your soul.
May God have mercy on my own soul. Walter, your thoughts?
Morgan doesn't believe in
Moving the
God.
fuck on. Blood fucking score predictions. This episode's terrible.
Blood predictions.
I don't even know where the drum roll
Man
thing
points.
is. Where is
that
it?
how we're doing this?
I mean, I know it's in here somewhere.
I
Right?
just did it. Just do what you need to do.
In third place, John
Greg,
Star,
Walter
the white boy.
just knocked the microphone out, and then Greg looked at him and cursed.
I did.
Negative 5 points. Second place, number 1, continuing championship, Handsy boy with the trophy, Morgan Hughes. In first place, somehow, probably accidentally, not for long. Enjoy it while it lasts. Greg Benson. Racist.
How many points did you have?
I have 10.
Oh.
You have negative 5, I have 10.
I know how many I
he
have.
has 25. You actually have negative points, so you technically have no points.
I
You
do.
have less than points. Your thoughts? Moving the fuck on. Crewzers FC versus Portland Thorns, the Trailblazers, if you will. John Zadar, I don't need to remind you, but this is a very important game. This is a rematch of 2015 MLS Cup, as you
John's like,
yawn very excitingly.
It's so important.
Into the microphone. Now, I want to get your thoughts, but first I want to go to the weather report that Alex sent me literally between segments 2 and 3. So I've had no chance to listen to this.
I hope
You could have just stayed and done it
I hope he
live
was
on the
recording
air.
it out there with the Chileans.
Told me at Tifo Sweat last night that he was going to do it live, but no. Okay, here we go.
How would he do this part live?
That-
He brings a gong and a xylophone in. Oh, and a second gong, but smaller.
Week 4. Columbus Crew SC are back home for a 2-game stretch and start that party off this Saturday at 7:30 against the Portland Timbers. The temperature at time of kick should be about 65 degrees with light winds out of the east. There's a slight chance of rain for the game, with chances increasing in the second half. Word on the street is the Golden Boys and Girls over at Tifo Sweat are painting tomorrow evening at 6:30 on the Mafre Stadium stage.
That's true.
Get out and enjoy a beautiful evening of upping the lads with temperatures around 70 and winds out of the south.
70.
Is that it? Whoa, Jesus. Alex Thomas with the weather report. I really enjoy these now.
Every time I don't know what to expect.
Did you hear like the little echo in his vocal track? Like
No.
he's now editing his vocal track separate from the actual
Wow, he's
background.
doing way more work than you've ever done on this.
I wouldn't even. I barely even know how to describe that correctly, John.
I know because I still don't know what you're talking about.
Fantastic. Great to have you back, John. Greg, I want to go to you first.
Yes.
What are you watching for in this weekend's match?
I'm watching for. Having watched Portland's game last week, obviously because they were playing Houston. That's the joke.
No one's questioned
I
it
know.
or anything.
I know. I was.
Oh, turns out everyone hates you.
Oh, I knew that. Don't give a shit. Yeah, Portland. If you thought Houston counterattacked against the Crew, Portland will do this to the nth degree. I mean, that's basically how they beat Dynamo. It was a shootout, and for all intents and purposes, it was it wound up being 4-2. And I think this one's going to be high scoring as well. Alluding to what Jeff said about AGS attack, you cannot stop this team. You can probably only hope to contain them. And I don't think that I saw anything from the Crew on Saturday. Sorry, Crew SC, Erica Kress, birthday girl.
There it is.
I didn't see anything that said that they were ready to handle a team of that caliber. DC's a different animal and probably a raccoon.
Where did he come from? Which land?
He basically just plays the drops on cue anymore. You don't have to do it. It's not spontaneous the way that it used to be. It feels forced, Morgan.
Are you going to the game this weekend?
I am not. Probably not.
Are you going to watch at Hen Docs Pub?
I am.
Are you going to sit in chairs
As a
at your
member
seat?
of the, well, I mean, it's my they're
The
they're
number
all my
one chairsy boy?
number.
I call him that at work all the time.
That's my number one handsy bar. Anyway,
people are like, "Hey, have you seen Greg's metrics?" And I'm like, "Oh, do you mean the number one chairsy boy?" Oh shit!
Yeah, no, I'll probably have a spare chair for Walter, too, because...
Hey, why not?
Yeah.
Nope.
He deserves it.
Everyone hates him.
I think Walter should start doing score predictions also.
Nah, I don't think so. Moving on, John Zidar, what are you watching for this weekend, pal?
Oh, man.
I'm with you.
We need a top-notch defensive performance here. Whether that's the 4-man backline or the 3-man backline, I guess we will find out. But whoever and however many guys are out there, they need to be top of their game. So
Fair enough.
That's what I'm looking for. You want to get wins at home, but I think that a draw in this match would probably be good for us. So yeah, that's what I'm anticipating.
Psychologically, at least, it would be good to finally get a point against Portland for the first time in what feels like an eternity, because...
I feel like a 1-0 loss at this point would be a moral victory, because it just wasn't
anything that's not a 2-1, right?
Yeah, Jesus. I mean, it was enough that we lost to the Blue Jackets in the Fort Columbus Cup 2-1, and it was like, Greg Berhalter, what are you doing? And everyone was like, yeah, what are you doing, man?
See,
is that right?
It looked like he didn't want to make the noise, but he did it anyways. You can see it in his eyes.
I fucking hate it. I'm looking for, obviously we're missing Yuka Raitala, that, Waylon Francis, hopefully just a plug and play. And, if we are to believe the whole systematic approach to Crewzers FC soccer, it shouldn't matter much, right? We're going to miss a little bit, not going forward, because everybody knows that when Waylon Francis is on the field, he's offensively, one of the best left backs in MLS. I wonder how much coverage we're going to miss, without Raitala.
I don't anticipate seeing Waylon Francis, if only because this is a very hard test for someone who's coming back from having not played in so long. In addition to the fact that I would really like to see Ness outside. I think it's really hard to take Crognale or Cronale or however the hell we've decided
Crognale.
we're pronouncing it.
Yeah, it's Crognale.
Okay, so it's going to be Cronale then.
Nope.
Because I'm not going to listen to you.
100% Crognale.
I think it's really hard to take him off, although I would understand if you did. He's still a rookie. It was still his first game. But with Mensah back and Raitala gone, I think this is a decent opportunity to get all of those 3 center backs on the field at the same time. And I think Ness has the skill set and the stamina to play in that position.
I haven't seen him do anything that he's not good at yet. I'll say that I think Portland is ripe for the picking. They have had an unbelievably good start to the season. A lot of people are saying that they are looking like werewolves with chainsaw for penises, which is good. Which is soccer. You wouldn't know that, John. You're more of a basketball guy. Yeah. So I think Portland is ripe for the picking, and also they're traveling across the fucking country. This is MLS. Ask Nate Beckham, home team FC, baby. If it's a statement game,
because that worked out so well in 2015.
It's a statement game for us as fans.
16.
I wonder how much these Crewzers FC players still give a fuck about the outcomes in MLS Cup and the various other times they've destroyed us the last 4 chances. So I'm looking for anger and I'm looking for blood, John, and urine.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to keep in mind a lot of these guys that are going to be in this field weren't part of the MLS Cup thing. So
That's true.
I mean, while I'm sure Ethan Finley and Justin Merrim, everybody handles those kinds of things differently, and I'd like to think that a cup loss is a special occasion that would make anyone want some sort of revenge.
Yes.
So I wouldn't be surprised if those guys, and Higuain, I guess, and maybe like Trapp,
I'd
feel
say
that way.
Trapp.
But you've got to think like
Trapp, the captain. The guy who's supposed to
yes,
be the motivational
if anybody here
center
is
of
upset and wants to beat Portland, I would assume that it would be Trapp. He was embarrassed in his hometown.
And I hope he tells his fucking, his teammates that, because he's the captain. And he's a Columbus guy. I know he listens to ACES radio. Everyone in Columbus does, John. So he's listening right now, no doubt. This is probably on in the locker room before the match.
Definitely. It's the Adele of 2017.
Yeah. As you strap on your boots, lads, let me tell you this. We want blood and urine. We want you to take it from him. And then
I
bring
want
it
them to
us.
be peeing them both out simultaneously.
Yeah.
Do whatever you need to do to them to make that happen.
Whatever these lads on the footy pitch do, John, what I will say is I think it's very important that all of Crewzers FC players walk past the Nordeca after the game, win, lose, or draw, shake the fucking hands of your capos, right? Because those are the guys that have been there for you, upping themselves and their co-supporters for 90 minutes. John, 90 minutes, an hour and a half. Now, here's what you're thinking. You're saying, You're talking to me about 90 minutes? Bitch, I spent 90 minutes on flags on fucking Monday afternoon on my lunch break. That's you, John. Those are your words. Don't talk to me about 90 minutes.
Yeah, don't talk to John about 90 minutes. That's how long it took him to get here.
Boom, roasted. Boom, roasted.
Boom. Roasted.
That's
But
when
you need
pass
to
the rest
shake
up.
those capos' hands. You need to say, thank you, lads. Thank you for upping us. Thank you for being upped. And we'll catch you next time. Is that right, John? Is that what you
I
said?
have no comment following this rant.
No, I have no comment on your rant that you just made.
Okay, Sean Spicer, relax.
How dare you, sir?
Jesus Christ.
We welcome the one person on Periscope still viewing this.
Go to bed, Shane.
Hey, the one person on Periscope, go ahead and give us just a shitload of hearts right now.
Yeah,
John's at our PFGs. They're ready
whip
to
'em out.
break out.
Yeah.
Greg Van Stein, I go to you first for your score predictions of the match, my friend.
Yeah, with all of the...
Zero. It went to zero. The person
The
left.
person left.
Hey, bye.
It's because I told Shane to go to bed.
with all of the confusion surrounding the pronunciation...
Caitlin won't disappoint herself.
of,
Oh, Jesus.
Boom. Roasted.
with all the confusion surrounding the pronunciation of Alex's last name, and I don't mean either Thomas or Stanek.
Crognell.
Yeah, I feel like that's an idea for maybe a banner, a two-stick. Maybe have him dressed up in sort of like khaki shorts.
Maybe we
and a
just write his
matching
name
shirt.
and then cross it out, then write his name, then cross it out, and write his name.
I was thinking more have him in khaki shorts and a matching shirt and just have the tifo saying Crognall Hunter.
No, God! No,
I like it.
God,
I appreciate
please,
it.
no,
Nope, turns out everyone hates that. Also, I already have a banner for him, maybe. Your score prediction, shitlord.
3-2 Portland.
3-2 Portland. John Zidar, the wet boy.
3-1.
Worf from Star Trek is what people are calling you.
Yeah?
Commander Worf.
I'm going to go 2-2, I think. I really want to go 2-1, but I'm kind of terrified that we might randomly win, and I'm scared of more negative points. So I'm going to go 2-2.
2-1 is like a bad score
Because I
prediction
can't
to
get
make.
that
Yeah.
reversed on me.
Well, John, I'll tell you what. The correct answer is 2-1 Portland.
yeah.
For fucking sure.
That's what I want, but
Do
I'm
not
scared
deviate.
of the negatives.
Do not deviate from the plan.
You say that now.
Oh hell, dude! I will lose 15 points this week and be fucking happy about it. I mean, I still won't be.
You'll be
below
happy.
You.
You'll have lost points.
Yeah. If Crewzers FC
And
can-
we'll have lost the game, and you'll be happy about it?
I say
Morgan,
2-1
how about
Portland.
this?
If Crew win 2-1, I lose 13 points. I'm happy.
How about this? Instead of you losing the 15 points, if the Crew should win 2-1, Walter gets the points.
Nope.
No.
I'm feeling 2-1.
As someone who needs him to get negative points to catch up, no, I disagree with that as well.
You know what? I take that back. Challenge accepted, Greg.
What? No, you just said that because
100%.
I said that.
Yeah, I didn't even understand his question, but I know that you don't like it. So,
It's on, motherfucker.
I don't sanction this.
so let me get this straight. If I win, if I predict it correctly,
No,
I
no,
get
no.
all the points. But if I don't,
you get your points if they win.
like if Crew win 2-1, my negative points go to Walter.
your negative points go to Walter as
This
positive
doesn't
points.
punish him in any way.
That's right. That's why I like it.
I mean, he still gets 0.
No.
No, but if we
This
we
is
lose
just
2-1
fucking me.
Greg, you drive a hard bargain, but I'm in. Oh shit! This has been fun, everyone. We got to close now, John. So tell us what GCG Bags got going on.
I have no
this weekend.
fucking idea.
Is that right? I mean,
If there's an event on Facebook, they didn't invite me to it.
I mean, what if you just said like tailgate,
Sex with animals.
sex with animals? Wonderful. We
about
picked up
damn
4
time.
viewers.
There's plenty of room in this
I
trash
was going
can.
to say that. It's apparently what you two do on the drive here every week.
trash can sex. That was a really good Kyle the Boss.
Hold on, I'm looking. Let's see. No, I don't see anything.
They don't do Facebook events.
Yeah, they
man.
did for the first one.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Maybe there's just no theme this weekend.
Maybe not.
How about this? Go to GCG Bag 96 on YouTube. They released 2 videos today. Hunt for the Golden Cruiser episode number 2 and the FIFA preview, both of which are dynamic, fantastic.
Fuck is the FIFA preview?
They play FIFA every week against like who we're playing, and they play it on like super easy mode, and they just thrash
And they
them.
thrash them.
Yeah, we won 6-0 in their preview. It was great, and there was like a 1:30 highlight of them going back at like passing between Zach Steffen and Will Trapp like 100 times, and then breaking away and
18,000
scoring.
lateral passes.
That's funny. My 7-year-old does the same thing playing FIFA too.
Greg Berhalter approves. That's exactly how
I
soccer
guess.
is played. Greg, you doing stand up anywhere?
I'm not actually. I have my kids next week, so I'm going to try and lay low for the week. And try and,
I'm standing up right after the show.
Fantastic, Morgan. I always look forward to that joke.
Love you, Greg. This has been great. I love all your jokes, your dad jokes. We're going to edit you out entirely in 3, 2, 1. Massive Report podcast. You're going back to that, and you've been killed.
Hey, aren't we getting close to suspension?
That's what the word I was looking for. Suspension, Greg. It's been increased. Zauber Brewing Company, zbeers.com. Reminders always to go there. Go to acesradio.com/hot deals. Still, there's like something for sale on that website, and nobody's bought it yet. So maybe blood points will be given to the first person who does. I don't know, John. Your thoughts?
Did you buy that domain and put something on there?
Unfortunately, we don't have time to talk about that. On behalf of benevolent corporate overlord sponsors Blood and Urine and Kevin Burns and Erica Kress, happy birthday, and the dead, rotting corpse of Walter the Raccoon who's buried outside of the stadium.
Not dead.
This has been ACES Radio, episode 39. We thank you for joining us. What do I do now?
And...
Yeah? Oh, and
all the people something do
every
the thing
person
where they make the noise with whispering.
Says... I don't think they make those noises.
No.
What?
Did they say...
Why did you do that?
The one time that we actually looked to you for direction.
We were waiting and you just sighed.
John, unfortunately, we don't have time to go into that. I mean, thanks for showing up, though. It's been. I mean, you were late, but
No, I was not late.
No, actually, he arrived like 10 minutes after we did.
About 15 minutes late, Greg. And you know what? We'll deal with this after the show. We got to get going. There is a French-Russian man across the street, and he needs to give us burgers.
Burgers.
Okay. On behalf of Peru and Scandinavia and all the lads being upped in the main drinking floor of Zauber Brewing Company, this has been ACES Radio. And all Lord Guillermo's people said...
Yes, yes.
The lads.
Ooh.
Episode, man. I swear to fucking Christ.
Are we still recording?
Yeah, we're
okay.
recording.
Just why?
I don't know.
You still here?
You could have just stopped.
It's
Yeah,
over.
no,
It's over.
Go.
Go to McDonald's.
I think he's actually overseas at his like real home. Because he was.
How would you know that?
He told
He,
Greg.
he actually legitimately told
Oh,
us.
you guys like have conversations with him?
Yeah.
Oh, we have.
I don't go over there.
John.
Yeah, because we've been doing this for almost a whole year now, and like last week you finally managed to
Did you
get
ask
around
his
to
name?
asking him
No.
where he was from, and figured out he was French
No,
rather
I
than
didn't
Russian.
ask him where he was from. He goes, "Do you know where I will be next week?"
Oh, sweet
Yeah.
Jesus! Did you check your closet?
And I said, and I said, France? And he said, yes, Paris. I'm like, oh, you're French. That's
Oh,
weird.
he's a fucking Parisian.
Yeah. And I'm like, I thought you were
I hear
Russian.
they're douches.
But like, so so worst case scenario when we go to McDonald's, right? Is
So he's
that
probably back then.
there's no one behind us in line because we know we're going to be there for fucking 25
Oh,
minutes.
you said that. Wait, last week he was gone?
When did he leave, Greg? 2 weeks ago? Don't worry, we're going to edit all
Last
this out.
week.
This is fantastic.
Yeah, great. No, but so like, basically, Greg and I creep up to the fucking drive-thru if there's no one behind us because like, if there's somebody behind us, we have to go. We have to hurry up.
You mean get to the
If
window,
not- yeah.
not to the ordering
No,
spot?
because you got to go right after the order screen. So
Okay.
like, if there's no one behind us, like we creep, and if like there's just like no one's ever going to come, we end up at that fucking window for 25 fucking minutes.
Talking to him?
Yes.
Oh.
Like this guy basically is just like almost in my car. Like he's stretching out of the guy. I mean, I love him.
He
He's a
wants to
great
give
guy.
you the door in.
But it's like, bro, Greg is a very important person. He has to go home. He has to sleep. He's got stuff to do tomorrow. He's doing stand-up. You doing stand-up
Maybe
anywhere,
we
bro?
have him on the show.
I'm standing up right at the end of the show.
So you know that I invited Dom Tiberi.
Yeah, I know you know that I know.
Yeah, how do you feel about that?
You saw my tweet.
Since I'm going to edit all this out anyway, just tell us, John.
No.
Like, honestly, though, I know you did the no, God, no thing, but, like, will you seriously just, like, not show up?
I might just sit here silently and stare at him.
What is your fear? What is your fear?
No, I don't have any fear. I just hate him.
Why?
Because I think he's incompetent and it is embarrassing. I think he should be embarrassed.
You've been rooting for the Crew for how long now, and all of a sudden you take a stance on confidence?
He's a paid professional.
So is fucking Andres Mendoza, bro.
And Andres Mendoza did his job. I don't know what you're talking about.
That's right, 16
He
goals.
did a lot of things besides his job.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I just
That's the
think
perk of doing your job.
Yeah.
I think that your hatred of Dom Tiberi is fucking lazy, and it's amateur.
What?
And you should be respecting him for the legend that he is.
Supporters
both love
support,
him.
John.
Yeah.
Supporters support.
And haters hate. So what's up?
That's true.
Yeah.
You don't want to be that. You don't
No,
wanna
I
be that
do.
guy. No,
Pretty
dude.
excited about it.
I feel like you
I
should
don't
just
even actively hate him. Just like when
You
you
should
people insert
just-
him into my life, I'm annoyed by it.
You should
Okay,
just
the
sit
alerts are
here,
annoying.
stare at him the entire time, and just sing like "Sound of Silence."
Don't do that.
Hello, darkness, my old
Don't do that.
friend.
No one would like that.
To Barry's tweeting
All of the
shit
goddamn,
again.
all of the people that listen to Aces Radio would fucking love it.
Yeah.
They would love it.
Because they know I'd be miserable. That's why they want it so bad.
Oh, okay.
That's valid.
For one fucking segment of one fucking episode, it's gonna be you experiencing the misery instead of me.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Oh, and that is like such a thing that you're like, I'm just gonna sit here and fucking sing at him.
I didn't say that. Also,
I remember you
am
saying
I the
that.
French guy now?
That is
I'm
what
just
he
going to
sounds
sit
like.
here and fucking sing at him.
I do not want to sing at him. I want to serve a cheeseburger to Morgan.
You know what we should do? We should make more prank calls. Honestly, remember that was going to be one of our things.
That was
when
what we
first
something we were
started?
going to do, and we didn't do it ever again.
I think I have one of them saved.
You could just play it.
All right. I should. No,
Yeah, maybe you don't have it though.
no, I do.
This is great
not
radio.
I don't give a shit what you think, Greg.
It's really just it's just a Morgan skit with me laughing in the background is what it'll be.
Martin Wheel.
All right.
Okay, so here's the thing. First of all, hi everyone. I just am. It's an honor to be here with you.
What is this?
No, but
I have
here's
no
the
idea.
thing.
It says wet boy.
I think we had a miscommunication on how many banners there'd be on the stage. It's not a big deal.
Oh, this is a text message.
John, so
this
don't
is a
freak out.
spoken text message that I sent to the TiVo Sweat group that backed itself up to my fucking computer.
Please include this.
What?
Please include this as part of the show.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs.
For some
You
reason, I
kidding
have
me?
this saved as a
Playoffs?
voicemail.
Who is that? What
I
is
just hope
that?
we can
It's
win
Jim
again.
Mora.
I don't know who the fuck that is.
He coached the Colts back
Stop
in the
freaking out.
whenever.
No idea. Never heard of him.
Here's a super tech mobile music.
Okay.
Yes.
What do you? Your iTunes is just like.
No, that's a song I wrote.
No, we should probably hear all that actually.
This is the song I wrote called Bubblegum. It was a smash fucking summer hit of 2011.
This sounds AGS attack level.
about some bubblegum. I wanna chew some. I'm about some
What's happening in the background?
I wanna chew
Probably people
it up.
It's like Wheel of
I'm
Fortune's
about some
on.
bubblegum.
I wrote 2 songs in my life. They were both summer smash hits. One was called Bubblegum, and one was called Boots Outside of Jeans equals Party Time.
From user, boots outside of jeans equals party time.
Yeah.
The other one are all the fucking U.S. national team capo fucking conference call from hell.
Oh, my God.
And we're not going to play that.
All right. I have like the worst headache.
And
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.
Please have a party. Feed us drinks.